Okay, I'm going to hit go live. We are live. And now I go here and turn our camera on.
Oh, there we are.
There we are. Hello, everybody. Just making sure things are working. This will be a little bit laggy there on that one. Hi, folks. Welcome to Pitt Day of Giving 2024 live stream. For the next 4 hours, we're going to be here with you talking about stories and what's going on here at UPJ. I'm joined by Senator John Wozniak, my co-president of the Alumni Association. I'm Matt Cernell, faculty, Geography Department, Business and Enterprise, Alumni Association. The gentleman coming in late is Dave Janicek, but we'll talk to him in a second. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And you forgot to mention that you're the IT man, too, because if it wasn't for Matthew, none of this stuff would be happening.
I'm going to take some behind-the-scene pictures for folks and share it. David can share them out on the social media for the campus to see what actually goes into making this work. But it is great to be back. John, I was looking. This is our, fourth year, you and I doing the live stream together.
Yeah, we've been doing it. It's been a lot of fun.
It started in my house during COVID, you and I in my office.
Yep.
And we've expanded to somebody else's office. Speaking of which, David Janicek, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, hey, you know what? Say that again. How about I unmute you?
Are we doing a Zoom meeting or a podcast here? Yeah. Which is it, Matt?
Well, it's not a podcast because I found out a podcast.
Oh, it's just a live stream.
Yes, this is live with pictures. Podcast is just radio.
But I was muted whenever John's
My
on.
wife
our,
told me that today.
When John's on our Zoom meetings, I was muted, I think. So
there you go.
It was a Zoom meeting. Yes, thank you for having me. Great to be here on the big day. I was a little late. I was out shaking people down. $5 a piece.
Well, I think we've all been harassing folks, and you as well. If you're watching, you can see throughout the whole the whole live stream here, we're going to have the donate link at the bottom of the page. You go there, you can share that with people. You can click the button. It takes you right to the accounts that go for UPJ, and you can see all of our divisions, all of our athletic teams, scholarship funds, a whole just plethora of potential donor sources or places that you can do your donation, and it can be as little as $5 as well.
And remember, we all love Oakland, and our degrees say Pitt on it. But what we're trying to do is a Pitt Day of Giving is a Pitt Day of UPJ. So if you are inclined to contribute, make sure it's going to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown.
Yeah, we absolutely...
Sorry, Chancellor.
I'm unapologetic about it for today. It's our live stream. I know they have a lot of... David, you and I and Lori have been in many meetings. They've got a lot going on down there, but we have our things going on here too.
Absolutely.
And I think, and I'll be selfish about it from the faculty perspective, I think my students and my colleagues deserve as much help and support as everyone else.
And when you're giving back to Pitt, that I agree, that's fantastic, that's wonderful. But you're looking at three guys that did their time here at Pitt-Johnstown. And if you really want to make a difference, think about what made a difference to you when you went to school here, whether it was a program, whether it was athletics. And this is I don't want to say this is your only opportunity, because we'd like to see you do that throughout the year. In fact, I'm going to throw a challenge out. If on Pitt Day of Giving, if today you made your first $5 donation to the University of Pittsburgh Johnstown, wake up tomorrow and see if that hurt. And it probably didn't hurt. So what I'm asking you to do is to do that every month. Get on you can do that through the website. Get on a $5, $10, $15, $20 a month cycle, and that adds up. But my point is, before I get too far away from it, is that you're really giving back to make a difference in something that made a difference in your life. John's right, we all fly under the banner of the scripted Pitt, but there's that little bit below it that, is just as important, where it says Johnstown. And this is your opportunity to say, I want to give, because as a professor or an individual or an administrator that made a difference in my life and created those memories. Alumni Relations and Engagement, it's all about memories. It's all about what made you who you are today. So I'm going to ask you to try it out today and then try to do it every month. And I'm going to reiterate what these guys are saying. Pitt script, but don't forget what made a difference here in Johnstown for you.
Why does this sound like NPR to me? Every time I listen on the Turnpike to NPR, they're always talking about how important NPR is and why you should support it.
I'm impressed that John listens to NPR.
I was talking about this the other day.
Is it a rental car maybe that it was stuck or broke or something?
No, my car just has AM, FM, so I've got to catch what I can. But on the UPJ alumni page, it's interesting. Dave puts out how you met your wife, and a lot of people are putting up their wives, so this could go either way. But if it was at UPJ that you met your wife, surely that's worth $5 a month, maybe not. Surely it's worth $5 or $10 a month to commit to UPJ, because look at all the, or your husband too, look at all the wonderful years UPJ gave you with your spouse.
But there's an experience. You're right, John. I mean, when we did the Mountain Cat couple, it was very successful for the second year during Valentine's Week. I'm not going to get sentimental and sappy on anyone, but I enjoyed. What's that?
But you will.
But I will. But I enjoyed reading those memories that were sent in of people that said, "This is how I met my significant other, and this is what made a difference." And whether it was, I'll give a shout out to the Greek life. A lot of those stories started with, I met my wife at a ASA party, or we were at Delta Chi. But those are memories. There's that old what was the credit card? Priceless. You can't put a price on meeting your significant other. You can't put a price on your college degree. I guess you can put a price on your college degree, but once you get out there and you make something of it, you really can't put a price on that. And I think the point is that it all started right here. We're working on some things to bring alumni back, but we bring them back because this is where it started. This is that piece. Whether you met your significant other, whether you didn't meet your significant other. Those things are worth something, and the only way to keep them continuing is make that pledge. So there's your NPR. Make it today and continue to make it throughout the year. We'd appreciate it.
I think it's and the engagement, like you were talking, David, is so important, and the things that we've got to do in the last couple of years, coming in, working together with the Alumni Association, seeing some of these reunions coming back. Delta Chi had a good one that came back and did a tour. We've had a great natural science, business, and enterprises looking to be fantastic in the fall. Engineering is coming up. These groups that keep coming back and saying, wow, this is really neat, and seeing things that haven't been here, and when they haven't been back on campus in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it really means a lot to them.
We're planning an all-Greek reunion. All-Greek reunion coming up in May. I don't think that's been done for 10 years, maybe 15 years. But that's bringing people back. And it's funny because we're bringing back those people that may not be so young anymore, but are at that age where they've got some time.
John's sitting right here.
Well, I don't know if John's coming back.
It hurts.
But I think we're looking at, people even younger than John that, are at a point in their life where they have a situation where they have more time, where they have a few more funds. They have
Sure.
And what a great way to continue that for that next generation, for those that are coming up, whether they're geology majors, geography majors, engineers, Greeks. You're helping that they can have that same experience.
And Dave, speaking from one of the more mature graduates of UPJ, there's some nostalgia involved.
Is there one in the room?
Yeah, no, young at heart. But there's nostalgia there. And you think about it, you come here at 18, you leave at 22. Those are incredibly maturing years for somebody, and really makes a difference on your career path. But we had COVID, and the Alumni Board now, we're now getting very active. So mark this on your calendar. May 31st, we have a golf outing. And if arrangements can be made, we even have evenings on the UPJ campus.
Confirmed as of yesterday.
Okay, so we are
Our
confirmed
conference
that
center
you
is
can
working on that.
stay
That'll be part of the system.
on UPJ campus Thursday night and even Friday night if you wish. And it coincides with the Greek reunion. But I think we'll have plenty of spaces available. So if you want to come in, get yourself a foursome. And the information, you can go on our website or our Facebook site, and the information will be there shortly.
Yeah, no, it's perfect dovetail right into Greek weekend, but it doesn't. You don't have to be Greek to be at the tournament. They're for both of all alumni can come and enjoy and watch John hit me with the golf ball again.
And it's not only alum, bring friends.
Yes, and
Right.
friends.
You know,
Right.
I mean, keep in mind that, I always look at, since I was a very young boy, Pitt was a cultural part of growing up outside of Oakland as a boy, just as Pitt-Johnstown, excuse me, is a cultural part of the Johnstown area or the greater Alleghenies area. So you don't have to be an alum to enjoy hanging out with alums. So if there are friends out there that you like to golf, or just friends that you want to support the institution because you've seen the difference it's made in the region and in the area. So it's not just that golf tournament is open.
Right. So we're pushing the golf tournament, and particularly those people that are in the autumn of their lives that have the time and they can spend a night or two at UPJ and go golfing. But remember, this is Pitt Day of Giving. So what we're interested in is if you commit a check or $5 or $10 a month. As a matter of fact, I always give a check, but this time I'm going to make a commitment monthly. But Matt's going to walk me through.
We're
going to
walk you
works.
through
Yes.
the Pitt Day Giving donation
go.
and the there you go.
Yeah, and the fist bump.
Hey,
We'll do both of those here as we get through the next couple of
he didn't
hours.
tell you he's going to make his pledge in pennies, though.
I don't care.
Yeah, there we go.
I will take legal currency. But let's take a look here just to kind of check in and where we're at. When you go to the Pitt Day Giving site, you can actually get directly to the Pitt-Johnstown site by going to upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, and that will take you directly to a page where you can see the live stream. But if you're already watching us, you already know that. But also, you can click the donate button. And it's at the top of the screen. It's the only two things on that whole web page. It brings you here. So when you're here, what you can do is scroll down, and I'm going to slide my mic over here.
Let me just make one point while you're doing that, Matt. You'll see two numbers on the top. Well, you'll still see them there. You'll see the number of donors and the amount raised. That number of donors is just as important. And that's the importance of if I made a $5 or $10 donation, that gets UPJ moving up the leaderboard. As we move up the leaderboard, we unlock opportunities to get to gain cash rewards from the university. So again, you ask yourself, what does my $5 donation today make a difference? Sure it does, because you'll see that number of donations to Pitt-Johnstown go up. When they go up,
Your $5 may be the $5 that puts us over the top for potentially thousands of bonus money.
Right.
So this bar down the way, halfway down the screen or a third of the way down is the statistical numbers right now for campus, for UPJ proper, and we're sitting at 65 out of our goal of 188 for the day. And you can see that we have raised so far $12,651. But when you go here to see the information, also if you're for my fellow geography and cartography fanatics, you can see a nice heat map of where our gifts have come from. So when you're scrolling down, you get to all the different funds that you can donate to. And it's, like I said, we have general athletic scholarship funds for general athletics. But we also have each individual athletic team, and athletics is going to be in here in a little bit to talk to us about some of that stuff. We have scholarships. Those of us who've been around long enough, we certainly remember Ron Vickroy as well as Clark.
Clark Strasser.
Yep. But then we also have individual departments and divisions. Chemistry, geography is a big one that I've been supporting, of course. Business enterprise is another one. But you could have the Art Center. Those of you who are lovers of the theater and the arts, you can support the Art
we're
Center.
at 0 right now. Let's get a number up there, guys. We're at 0 for the PPAC. Let's get a number on.
Humanities division, scholarship. Anytime you want to pick something, you can go in here, and I'm just going to pick on the one that I can go and pick on for a little bit because I know some of the people involved, and you can see where they're at. But you can click that Make a Gift, and when you make a gift, it'll pop up the form that tells you, okay, right here on the right-hand side. I wonder how much I want to give, and I can just click Other and just do $5. That's it. Simple as that. Go through, fill out the form that is presented to you, and you're done. It takes all of a minute and a half to do and means the world.
Well, how do you do it if you're going to set up $5 or $10 a month?
That's through the campus page, and I'll show you that as well a little bit
Okay.
later. But this is just for Pitt Day of Giving.
We want to make it a Pitt year of giving.
Yeah, we'll do the Pitt Year of Giving a little later.
Okay.
But this is the that adds into that statistical number that you saw, and we need it for you. We need everyone help within that's out online watching us today. Doesn't matter where you're at. If you can take the time, do the $5 donation. Share out the link on any social media you have as well. Would be a great help.
Yes, please share, because we have that technology, and all you do, you're watching this on Facebook, you just go down the little right-hand corner there and hit share, like Matt showed me.
There you go.
And you can follow it also on our
Kevin, one of the independent things up here? No.
our LinkedIn page and Facebook page today also have those links on it. So if you get, kind of your navigation skills aren't as sharp
mine?
as some of ours, you can just go to our Facebook, our Alumni Association Facebook page, or Alumni Association LinkedIn page, and you can share right from there. You can give right from there.
Yeah.
And that'll be up for the rest of the day. So once we're gone, doesn't mean the giving stops.
No.
Oh, and Matt, when you take a sip from your cup, you have to go like this. So you see the pit out there.
Okay. Well.
And I have a story behind that.
Okay, let's talk priorities for a second, and I'm gonna explain this from a technical perspective, as someone who may be auditing my technical class in the fall.
Okay.
You do not have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars of electronic equipment. I'm worried about not spilling it on everything.
Yeah, I got a pair of reading glasses.
Yeah, which I think would be fine with your coffee. So,
That's high tech
you
for
go.
some of us.
reading glasses.
The reading glasses.
Nice.
The amount that you own.
This is always a really cool event to get into and have Pitt Day of Giving. It's been certainly a lot of work, and I think on it would be bad or inappropriate of me to forget to thank certainly the support the campus gives to us to be allowed to do this and be able to promote this sort of thing. But the work that both David, you, and Lori have put in for months on this, I have notes going back to October.
Yeah, this is the big day. I mean, again, we'd like to see everyone give every day, but this is the day we step up and say, hey, I want to be counted. I want to make a difference. I want people to understand that Pitt's important to my life. Pitt's important to the community and to the region, particularly this campus. So yeah, it just doesn't happen. You just don't wake up and it's Pitt Day of Giving. A lot of work's gone into it.
And it's worth $5 a month just for the memories and some of the stuff you can talk about. But I want you to think about this. All the universities out there are challenged. Demographics are shifting. Cost of education is increasing. Everything we do is to try to improve the student life on this campus and to get more students engaged and to come to UPJ, to keep its doors open and educate people. And when you think about it, giving, and I know it's Pitt Day of Giving, but we're talking about the year of giving, $5, $10 out of your debit card or credit card. Think about it. Really not going to miss it. And particularly, go back to all those people that have at least one story. It's worth it because the opportunities that it gave me. And I'll tell you what, I commuted the entire time.
I did as well.
And I made my stand here in Johnstown. And some people would think I'm successful, some people wouldn't. But I'll tell you what, the opportunity would have never been there. And one of the greatest education I reached from UPJ. Now, I have to admit, I had to burn my transcripts so my kids didn't see them. But I think the education I received here is second to
We could
none.
probably find them if you wanted
I'm
to see
sure
them
you
again.
could. I asked you about if you could change them for me.
Oh,
didn't I?
I cannot do that. Nor can I actually get them. But we could walk down to the registrar's office when we're done, if you'd like to take a look. But the idea that, like John said, having that connection and seeing that excitement and spending time here on campus, I get to do it a lot more than you do just because of the nature of being on faculty. But it is almost like I never left. It's still the same thing. The worry about tests, but also the fun and camaraderie of friends and activities and planning. whether it's a fun trip out or an academic conference they're going to. Environmental studies and geography is going to AAG this year in Hawaii. Next year I might get to go. It's in Detroit, but
Detroit's a little easier to get to, cheaper.
but they're talking and they're excited. They're looking and fun and working just like we did when we were students here. The same experience. Technology's changed,
Right.
materials changed a little bit, but
And speaking of technology, next term I'm going to audit your class, and so I can be a little more sophisticated on my computer. I can use it, but it'd be nice to know without guessing at it. But I do have another friend, and I'll drop his name, Jim Sestrich. He's auditing a geology class, and he says, big difference between the late 70s and early 80s versus now. It's the world's changed, and it's technology, but he's acing his classes because he's retired and has plenty of time to study now.
that's great.
Okay, we've got some people in here now.
We are
Hey, Coach.
fully loaded. Yeah, did you guys bus up? Oh wow.
We all ran up. That's what we do in athletics, you know?
I haven't run in 20 years.
I started doing that. That lasted about a week.
You guys did so well.
Well, let's start cycling in here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't I give my seat up, and we'll let the coach sit up here, and Abby, you can sit up here too, so the cameras can see you, and you can talk about athletics and wrestling. Wrestling
Basketball and baseball.
and basketball and baseball. So these seats are yours.
Yeah. So we welcome Pitt-Johnstown Athletics. Start with some familiar faces to most of the folks who are would be familiar with campus in general. Coach Pat Pecor. Coach, looking good. Good to see you.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good.
Good,
Good.
good.
Get right up on that mic there. And,
Okay.
yeah, great. And Abby Gerhardt. Abby.
What's up? How's it going?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to keep forgetting to unmute. I mute David occasionally.
Okay. Am I on?
You are on now.
All right. Mike's hot. All right. I
Well,
said, what's up? What's going on?
Not bad. Not much. We're enjoying Pitt Day of Giving. We started everything. Nothing is caught on fire.
That's good.
So low bar, but it's good. I enjoy having mute for David. It's kind of fun to have a button with him. Who did you bring with you today?
Well, we brought our assistant men's basketball coach right here, Pat Grubbs, and our assistant men's baseball coach.
Great.
Okay.
George Roberts.
Fantastic. Welcome all to the Pitt Day of Giving live stream. Certainly one of the things that when we set out to start Pitt Day of Giving for the live stream was to give people a chance not to just donate to athletics, but each athletic team as well. And you can see those on the Pitt Day of Giving page that you can actually go find basketball, find baseball, find the golf team, find women's soccer, or whatever you'd like there, as well as the athletic scholarships and everything in between. But what does that mean for you as a program, you as a whole massive part of what makes UPJ so special? For
It means
those
a lot because every one of our programs, you look at the three things in athletics all the time are, facilities, scholarships, and staff. And so our athletic programs do very, very, very well with some limited resources. And so anything that can be, obtained, in any one of those areas really, 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 helps. And, so, over the years that, our athletic programs have done very well. Very well, and I'm very proud of the coaches and what they do and the time that they put in. But you can always use a little more scholarship, a little more facility updates, or even a facility. We're trying to, just for example, our baseball team. We'd love to have a turf field.
Okay.
To where we can have, just to have a turf field on campus where you can have your men's soccer, women's soccer, softball, baseball, and we're splitting up the baseball team. That's a nice situation. They go down to the Point Stadium, which is beautiful. We're currently, working on a softball field, which is coming along really, really nice. But it would really be nice, to have one turf field that could accommodate, 4 sports and intramurals and anything else you can use, especially with some of the times the weather in situations like that. So that's just an example of something in facilities. I mean, Abby and I were just yesterday talking about, we got a track team, with, there's close to how many members are on the track team
We
now?
have like 83 members on our track
Yeah,
team.
and we need,
wow.
and that brings a lot of enrollment for the school, and so, but the facilities are very limited, not even an adequate track type of thing. So, having donations that can go to something like that, so you figure athletics just adds so much to a college. I always called it the front porch to a university, because that's what people see. That's what they see in the paper. That's what they see on TV. So athletics is like the front porch of a university, and so we want to have a nice front porch.
That makes a lot of sense, and it's certainly something that I know you all take seriously, because I get to see the student side of student athletes, and they're always some of my best students, or the students athletes, because they're very dedicated. Abby, you certainly seem a lot less in motion than the last time we saw you at Winterfest. Did you
Yeah.
recover from Winterfest?
Oh, there's always motion going on. That just happened to be in the forefront. I have recovered. Winterfest was awesome, and that's kind of what I like to talk about with athletics is the community side. Because it creates a culture. I think it's really important to note that when you support athletics, you're supporting enrollment for the school. So, if we have better facilities, we can have more athletes. Like, we've actually increased the amount of student athletes we've had on campus over the years, with our facilities and staffing being less and less competitive compared to our peers. But our athletes are growing. So I can't even imagine what it would be like if we had better facilities and things like that to attract more students and help the enrollment of the school, help the school thrive. And then it just creates a good culture. But on the flip side of it, like I was saying with the community relations, like I just love the platform, the front porch that athletics has with the community, like what we did with Winterfest, open our doors up so you can experience our teams and just, get to experience our beautiful campus. That's what I love about athletics. And to me, upgrading facilities is having sports camps over the summer, having a place to bring your kids to learn and grow, and maybe just give you some free time, whatever it might be. Let us, help steward your money well when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, I think athletics just brings a whole lot of just good things. It's just a safe space for people to have fun and have camaraderie and build teamwork.
Let's bring in the rest of your group that you were so kind to bring from a coaching perspective. Certainly different sports, basketball versus baseball. I don't think John or I would probably be good at either one of those two sports at this point in our lives.
Oh, I was.
But same sort of idea, the impact of what it means to have that support from both, and I'm sure a lot of it would come from the alumni who came through here and were part of those programs.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Just get up on the mic. Yeah.
Tall people.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah, absolutely. Just kind of to piggyback off of what Coach Pecora and Abby said, it's just, the facilities would, just enhancing them and through renovations and whatnot would be huge. And we've had great support, from our alumni. Rich Reagan has done, a fantastic job, getting money donated for, our wooden floor and our wrestling room, our weight room, and just that goes such a long way. And not only does it kind of brighten up our facilities whenever we are able to get these funds, but it enhances our student athletes experience as well. It's something that they take ownership of, and they can kind of, brag about to, their friends and stuff about the nice things that they have here. And, I just think it's huge, and we're so grateful whenever, we are able to get that support from, our alumni and, outside resources for sure.
Same with baseball? Yeah, they're all on. Good.
Yeah, exactly what they said. It enhances, it helps with recruiting, especially. I think an all-purpose field knocks out a lot of those sports. All in one. You could do track or soccer, baseball, kind of like what Gannon and them do. To have individual fields obviously is a lot of money, but an all-purpose turf field, especially in the Northeast, would be huge. Like for recruiting, all that stuff. Because we're lucky to have the point, which is great. We lose a lot of baseballs there, which are expensive, right? We don't get to practice there in the fall. And then in the spring, luckily this spring, we've got to practice there a decent amount, but eventually we start splitting them with Bishop McCourt. So it'd be nice to kind of have your own spot.
Coach, when you talk about, we kind of almost got at some of this now, talking certainly about with Rich Reagan and so forth with the basketball court. That has really helped build program from, and I'm thinking back to the nice conversation we had with when you were kind enough to join us with us on the podcast about when you first got here and how where things were versus now.
We've definitely grown over the years, and you know, when I first got here, there wasn't even a sports center. So, but I got here in 1976. 1976, 77 was my first year. So that's a few years ago, a couple years. And so, you know, so the school has grown. Like I said, the sports center wasn't there. And the guys like Rich Reagan, a former basketball player, Sean Iskin, a former wrestler. You know, I can go on and on, name a lot of names, but those are some of our, you know, big donors that have really, really helped our. The new basketball court is beautiful. You know, the wooden to finally get a wooden court was just we needed that so bad for years and years and years, and then to put the new pit colors up, you know, down. I mean, that just pops out at you right now when you walk into the sports center, you know. But you know, so definitely we have. You know, President, you know, Spector expanded the wrestling room, which really helped, you know, with wrestling, you know, having, you know, 40 guys on the team and things like that. You know, he expanded that, and that really helps. Like Pat was saying about the finally having an athletic weight room. You know, it's you know, for athletes, and you know, it's our own little thing. You know, there's the wellness center, but to have your own athletic weight room, and that came through, you know, the donations that Rich Reagan was able to generate. You know, to do things like that. So, and like I said, when I look upon things like facilities are just so important, and even what George was saying about recruiting, when you're recruiting and you're bringing, you know, seniors in high school on campus, and you know, and they could look at a nice wrestling room and a nice basketball court, and boy, if you had an overall turf field and where you could say, hey, you know, we play baseball here, or we play women's soccer, men's soccer, softball, an all-purpose field, yes, something like that, huge. You know, and like George says, covers you know, 4 or 5 sports, you know, type of thing, and so I think that's something that we're all, you know, trying to get better in every sport. You know, we talked about the track and the need for you know, having the right facilities, you know, for a track team and things like that. So it's tough. You know, we have, you know, 15 sports that are going at it, and you know, overall about 280 some athletes, you know, that are participating, you know, so that's you know, and that's also a lot of revenue for the school, you know, when you having, you know, it's a, you know, coming here and then obviously for scholarship money, and you know, most athletes aren't on full athletic scholarships, but they're on partial athletic scholarships. Some, you know, are lucky enough maybe to come close to a full scholarship, but, you know, trying to spread the scholarship money around to as many athletes as you can. And, you know, that's always something. And, you know, even staffing's probably one of the toughest things to, you know, to increase. But, you know, this year was Dr. Spector, first year we had full-time assistants. You know, I actually went my whole career, 40-some years, without having a full-time assistant. You know, so you would tell people that, they would think, you know, you're crazy. You know, but now we actually have full-time assistants in wrestling and men's basketball, you know, women's basketball. You know, we're able to get a full-time, another full-time assistant that covers, you know, track and women's soccer, and so, you know, that goes a long way, because, nowadays it takes a staff, and we're competing, in the largest conference in Division II, the PSAC, the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference, and it's the largest in Division II, and one of the most competitive conference that there is. So, it's tough. You got to compete, and so that's what and the coaches, they're out there, they're knocking on the doors and bringing people on campus, and it's competition. There's a lot of competition out there for these, and even more now with most schools having, enrollment issues. There are more and more schools using athletics as a form of increased enrollment-driven, institutions that, especially small schools, they're using athletics as a way to increase their overall enrollment. But when you increase sports, then you also have to increase the three things I was talking about, scholarships, facilities and staff. So you can't just add something and then not back it up. You want the what I want is for every student athlete to have a positive experience. If they can come here and have a positive experience, that's the key. And you wouldn't, and seeing that, you talk about, like you're saying, academically, Abby could tell you a little bit about, just the, how many student athletes had a 4.0, how many student athletes are on the dean's list. What do you tell a little bit about the academic side?
Yeah, we had 18 student athletes get a 4.0, so that was amazing. And it's incredible. Like, when you're coming to school here, you're getting a Pitt degree, so it's not like they're, they have blow-off classes, so to speak. When we have a student transfer in from another school, I'm like, listen, like, you got to go to class, you got to study, and they all confirm that. They are like, this is definitely like the real deal, which is awesome. We're actually preparing, students for the real world, and our student athletes aren't like they're majoring in engineering and chemical engineering and nursing and like just all these great majors, and they're still competing in one of the most competitive conferences in Division II, with limited resources in terms of staffing and facilities. So like scholarships are what help keep us in the game. So we're grateful for people like Craig Albert and Matt Mazonki, and excuse me for missing other names. Those really help to keep us in the game right now. But we really need facilities, and we really need staffing. And I mentioned not only investing in athletics doesn't help just our campus in terms of enrollment and just culture, but it also helps the Johnstown community. And I think that's something that's really important to point out. We have teams coming, staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants. If we're able to host regionals like we have, our hotels are full, our restaurants are full. Some of our sports can't even host a regional because we don't have the facilities for it. So if we're able to do that, you've got restaurants thriving, you got hotels thriving, businesses thriving. That's a huge investment. And not just talking about, our teams competing. We're talking about summer camps that we can have, like AAU basketball and volleyball, travel volleyball. Like that stuff is crazy big right now. And what that does for local economies is huge. So you're not just investing in Pitt-Johnstown athletics, but you're investing in our campus and you're investing in the Johnstown community.
Let's remind folks when they want to give. It's certainly Pitt Day giving. That's why we're all here today for several hours. You can see on the bottom of the screen the upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG will take you right there. You can click and you go right to the UPJ page. Let's take a quick look and see where we're at. Up to 74 of our goal of 188. Raised $13,456 so far from the 72 donors. So we have a ways to go, but considering that Pitt Day Giving is just kind of getting rolling, I think that's a great way to do it. Whether that's $5, $50, $5,000, $5 million, we will take your money, and we will be extremely, extremely grateful for you. So if you could hit that webpage at upj.pitt.edu, you have the big donate link right there. It'll take you to this directly to the UPJ Pitt Day Giving page, where you can find athletic scholarships, the athletic department as a whole, the basketball team, men's and women's, baseball, softball, all right there. You can direct, hey, I want to give my $5 to help support that cause, those students. I was a wrestler. I was on the basketball team. I was a fan of one of those things, which is more likely for everyone else on this side of the room.
Or I came to Winterfest and brought my kids there, and they had a blast. And
Yes.
we want to give back because, Pitt-Johnstown gave to us. So that's something we're going to keep doing, those kind of events. So we'll take it.
Abby, your point about it being such a tool from an economic development standpoint is a very important and sometimes overlooked point, that even if you're just seeing this out there, think about it from that community's perspective, that you may say, I never went to UPJ. I never even got a chance to go up to campus for some reason. But I understand, because people come into my shop, or they come eat at my restaurant, or I know they come and support my business or something like that. So think about that as you also dig down and dig deep.
Yeah, and I encourage you to reach out to me, because we're constantly looking for those types of relationships to build and be able to, support your business and also, support us. It's a relationship. So we got some other coaches walking in.
Well, why don't we kind of do a quick rotation here? We got about 10 minutes till the rotation out. Anything before you guys kind of rotate out, before you want to else recap the season? Excited to kick off the baseball season? I know basketball's kind of getting towards the end, and I think.
Yeah. We're just finishing up. We actually have our last game tomorrow, so we're hoping to finish strong. But you can't be more grateful for all the help we have received. I was one of the lucky ones to kind of move from that part-time to full-time position that Coach Pecora spoke about, and I can't thank Abby and Coach Pecora and Dr. Spector for that, and just everything all together. It just helps. It helps us promote this campus and this community, and I hope we can just continue to do that moving forward.
Great.
Yep. We are 2 weeks in, and we have 3 more non-conference weekends, and then we go into conference. So we're excited to get rolling. The weather's been pretty cooperative, so just appreciate everybody here, athletics, and anybody who can give. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, Georgia's one of those spots where we'd like to get a full-time assistant coach. So just throwing that out there.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, gentlemen, both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Abby, who are we? Yeah.
All right, we got Coach Mike Drehas. He is our head women's basketball coach, and he also coaches golf. And then we also have Kayla McNamara. She is one of our newly added assistant coaches, which is women's soccer and also track and field. So she's, both of these people are busy year round. I mean, we all are grinding, but, coaching 2 sports, both of them coach 2 sports. It really shows their dedication to this campus.
What's that like, teaching or coaching 2 sport teaching? I'm still in faculty mode from this morning. Coaching 2 sports and having to come to a day like this and advocate for both sports, because all 4 of those are part of the funds you can actually find on our donation page, and we encourage you to go to that and support you. Yeah. So get up on the mic there and
yeah, I mean it's definitely, it takes a little bit more effort, a little bit more time, and but again, it's nothing that we can't handle. Obviously Kayla's been doing it for a year. I've been doing it for the past 10 years now. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun getting to interact with a whole different group of kids, and obviously from my women's basketball team to the men's golf, there's a whole lot of differences between the 2. But it's definitely a lot of fun, and nothing that I wouldn't want to do it more often.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat too. I'm obviously super happy to be here. Coaching women's soccer and then going right into track, it's definitely a bit of an adjustment. It's 2 very completely different sports. One is more team orientated and the other is a bit more individual, but it's been a really good experience so far, and obviously building relationships with all the coaches here, and obviously Coach Pecora and Abby. It's been awesome.
I think across the board what you see has always been impressive is just that cohesiveness and camaraderie that comes with UPJ athletics, and it is been that way for a long time. And I'm going to put that all on you, Coach, because I think that starts at the top.
Yeah.
And it is, and it's seen by everybody. And I cannot sing, and I would tell this to John or David sitting here without you all here. That like I said, some of the most attentive and interactive students I have in classes are your athletes, and I know them when I see them, because when they, I don't even know before they introduce themselves. I can tell because of how they're they're on it. There's a
Well, I think I've always, it's just the way I think I do it. Try to do everything is the way I grew up. The family. La familia. But anyway, you want to create, a family atmosphere, no matter what organization you're in. And I think for me that came easy. So. And I try to, be that way with all of our staff and coaches and staff and let them know that it's just, I don't want people to think that they're working for me. I want them to think we're working together. They're working with me. And Abby feels the same way, and I think it goes right across the board. And we're all in the same building. We run across each other all day long, and so we're close. We don't have to have, huge meetings all the time. We could just go right down the hall and things like that. So I think it's a good way, and being an athlete's always, something special because, they identify with the sport, and it makes them even a stronger alumni in a way because they have an attachment, that they were a Pitt-Johnstown athlete of something, and I think that even brings a closer unity, type of thing, and they know they're always welcome back to come back into the family and visit and so but yeah, I'm proud of that fact, and I think that Abby and the coaches agree that we try to, have that type of atmosphere.
Yeah, I was going to say sometimes those alumni come back and work here, So Coach Grubbs that was here earlier and then myself, we were both former student athletes here, and that's what happens when you love it so much. You want to, keep coming back and keep giving back, and a lot of sacrifice for sure, but that's what family's about, working together and, picking each other up, and I think Coach says it perfectly. Like, that's what it feels like for me. It's family. Like, all of my coaches, all the student athletes, I feel like the student athletes are my kids. I know they're adults, but I feel like I'm their mom, and I want to be that way. And I think we do have that type of environment and that culture, and it does, come from the top down. It's really important. That's what his wrestlers say. It's a brotherhood. That's why his alumni are so strong. Well, we have a familyhood, at Pitt-Johnstown, and I really do. Like, I do anything for any of my coaches, and I absolutely love what we have going here.
You didn't mention you were did you donate to Pitt Day Giving yet? If not, there's a gentleman here who will gladly take your $5.
He tried getting me on the way in already.
We got him.
One of the things I'll mention along those same lines, and something that recruits or especially parents point out to me is how long people stay here. That obviously Coach Pecora starting at the top, has been here for 40 years, and I've been here for 11, over a decade, and I'm still one of the young ones in our department. So I think that speaks volumes that as far as the family atmosphere and what we do as a department, that the people stay around here. As I said, Coach Grubbs, has been here. Was it 9 years now as an assistant, 10 years as an assistant, and was obviously a student here for 5 years. And Abby came back, and our baseball coach has been here for 20 years, and our SID has been here for 20 years. And I think that speaks volumes that we're doing something right. And again, I think we have people that are willing to put in the work and the sacrifice to continue to build to make Pitt-Johnstown athletics as good as they can be.
Great. We're getting right towards the end of the top of the hour here, but I wanted to give you both the chance to talk about your seasons, both concluding and coming up as well.
Yeah, we're for women's basketball. We're in the grind now. We're reaching towards the end here. We actually have our last regular season game coming up this Wednesday, tomorrow night. So we're excited for that, and hopefully make run the PSAC playoffs. And we're kind of on that verge, right on the outside of the regional rankings. We're somewhere around like 14-ish, somewhere in there, and still fighting to get ahead. But our conference is really tough, and obviously with the resources that a lot of the schools have and things, we're fighting a lot. But I'm really proud of our team and what we've been able to accomplish these last several years, and hoping, like I said, we still have at least a couple more weeks ahead of us. On the golf side, we had a great fall, and really represented well. We're sitting 6th in the region right now, and we're getting ready to actually start our spring season here next week. head a little bit south, but we actually have our Pitt Day of Giving stuff going on right now. If anyone wants to tune into we're trying to do a hole-in-one challenge over on Instagram live right now.
Oh,
so
nice.
Guys can feel free to check that out. We've actually had a fair amount of activity on there, so kind of fun to watch the guys hit some shots.
We'll have to pull it up. We have it behind us and watch them.
We're hoping we get Coach Abby or Coach Pecora to come down and be a celebrity guest shot here. I took a couple. I took some beatings in the comments, but that's okay.
Well, David almost golfed one time, but he had broken ribs. I got hit by a golf ball once. John's the one who hit me. So this is not the group that's going to be able to win your tournament today.
That's funny.
How's your season?
Yeah, so Dre Hall said it best. I mean, PSAC is one of the biggest Division II conferences, so it's very tough. In terms of women's soccer, we're a fall sport, so we went from middle of August all the way till the first week of November. In terms of records, we had one of our best records the program's had. Our conference actually 2 years ago implemented a new rule where you can end at a tie now, which kind of helped us this year. We ended up in 4 ties. Obviously, you could, end up kind of going in overtime and potentially win, but sometimes those games you rather just take a tie the way they go. So that definitely helped us out. Actually, in the beginning of the fall, women's soccer opened up a fundraising for new locker rooms. So we raised a good amount, but we would like to open up a new one just to get a couple more. I'm hoping to kind of upgrade our locker room a little bit for them. So that would be very generous for everyone. And then our track team, we're in season right now. We just ended our indoor season, so we're beginning outdoor right now with the weather and stuff. Hopefully it holds up and we could start training outside. Our track is a little, it's not the best, but it's not the worst, so we do everything we possibly can for the athletes, and they have a very positive mindset, but we're hoping we can obviously in the next couple of years fix that up as well.
Great. Anyone who would like to give, again, at upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG will take you right at the top of the page is the big button. You click it, it'll take you to the UPJ part of the donation page, and you can find all of these sports, athletics in general, scholarships for athletes, anything that you would like to support, and click that button within 2 minutes. Done, set, but your dollars go exactly where you want them to go. Coach Pecora, Abby, all of you, thank you so much for coming and spending a half hour with us here on Pitt Day Giving 2024. It certainly is special, and it's something that I always like talking and seeing things.
Good. No, we had a good time.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, thank you. Good luck tomorrow. Is that a doubleheader here?
Yep.
5:30, 7:30.
5:30 and 7:30?
Come, cheer loud.
Check it out.
So good. We want to promote that as well. So again, thank you all so much for coming, and we're going to keep pulling in those donations.
Awesome.
Again,
Thank you.
if everyone else here hasn't donated, David will get your information on the way out.
Thank you.
So we are continuing live here for Pitt Day of Giving 2024. We're going to take a 3-minute little switch out here, get everything situated, and we are going to be back to start the Power Hour here at noon. we're back here. Hopefully, everyone got a chance to take a little bit of a break and figure things out. We are continuing with Pitt Day of Giving 2024. We've made it to hour 2 of the 4-hour live stream. Hour 2 is going to be great. Every time we have an opportunity to sit with Dr. Jem Spector, it's a great opportunity. Dr. Spector, welcome to the Pitt Day of Giving live stream 2024. It's become an annual tradition for you and me and John.
Thank you so much, Matt. It is a pleasure to be here with both representatives of our alumni association. You know, you've got Senator Wozniak on my left and, of course, Mr. Snell. Thank you for inviting me.
What does Pitt Day of Giving mean to you as you reflect and think about, because this is you've been here for every Pitt Day of Giving.
Well, Pitt Day of Giving, first and foremost, I've always said giving starts with a G, gratitude starts with a G, and there's a reason for that. So Pitt Day of Giving is always for me a day of gratitude first, and thanking people for all the gifts that they've given us over the years, some of them decades. And quite frankly, the gifts are not just by way of the money that people send today, which I hope you all do. I hope you all support us. The gifts are much more than just money. They come by way of people giving their time, people giving their energy, commitment, their love for UPJ, supporting us, being at our athletic events where we just won the PSAC Wrestling Championship for the umpteenth time. So Pitt Day of Giving is a day for gratitude and a day to appreciate and thank those who have given to us, those who are planning to give, and we hope you are if you haven't, and those who really just over the years have supported us with their time and their talent and by being great representatives of UPJ out there in the world.
I think that's a great sentiment. I often talk about time, talent, and treasure, and there's a lot of ways to give back to the Pitt-Johnstown community, and it's time, it's talent, and today is treasure, and it can be as little as $5. I just want to remind people of the webpage, upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. PDOG will get you to both the live stream if you wanted to share that to friends and family, as well as the actual donation page where you can go and pick the page that you or the location you want your money to go. For $5 and up, you would be on the list and qualify, and it would be, like I told Coach a little bit ago, we'll take $5, $5,000, $50 million, and anything in between.
Good. Mr. President, there's an old saying, if you're standing still, you're going backwards. I've been under a number of presidents now, starting with Dr. Blackington, who was my president when I was at UPJ, and then when I moved into my career as a friend. I've seen the growth of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. And one nice thing, all the buildings, they kept the same ambiance. They kept the same architectural stuff. And now our challenge is not so much the physical building, but our challenge is trying to create the scholarships and bring students in. But we're not alone out there. It's like we're not sitting there and saying we're the only university that's facing challenges. Every university out there is shifting demographics, and we just have to be part of why do you want to come to UPJ? And that's the issue that I guess all universities are reaching out to, and you've done a great job in reaching out to the greater community and slowly going like in a larger circle to reach out to going to Philadelphia, going to Youngstown, Ohio, reaching to the not so deep south, but a little further south, so that our circle gets a little larger, so that we can draw on those students, because once you get them on this campus and see it with their parents, they want to stay.
Well, Senator, you are our best, one of our best ambassadors and great representatives out there. And you said it just right. It's a time of great challenge in American higher education as college-going rates have dropped overall, and as all institutions struggle for fewer and fewer students. which makes Pitt Day of Giving even more significant, because as we struggle for students, and every institution, as the senator said, every institution is in the same struggle. Being able to compete requires more generous offers of financial aid. And I cannot go with this day without saying that in some of our programs, for example, in business, students who come to our business programs have very generous, more than the average scholarship, because of an alumni like some of you out there who built a very strong endowment that specifically said, I went to UPJ, I had a great experience, and I want to leave a large gift to support those coming after me to pay it forward. So now, because of alumni like you out there, our business students are able to benefit from more generous scholarships. And so on Pitt Day of Giving, it is critical that as we talk about these challenges, we talk about the opportunities as well. And one of the greatest opportunities that UPJ has is dedicated alumni who love this place, who had a great experience, who have fond memories of the log cabin. Or some of you who went, downtown when we were downtown, great memories of your start. And what I've discovered is, just like when people we recruit come to campus, they love this place. Everybody who spent time at UPJ, getting their degree here, has great memories, thinks about the people, the programs, the faculty they had. And so fundamentally, even at a time of challenge, the alumni and the friends and those who give to the university are a great resource that can make a huge difference in providing that scholarship that enables a student to attend. And we are recruiting from, not just Pennsylvania, but out of state. So scholarships help reduce tuition and make it more affordable. And so again, today on Pitt Day of Giving, I cannot overemphasize the 2 G's that I talked about. The first one is gratitude. Thank you for the gifts you've made. And then the second one, to encourage you and to invite you, if you haven't done so, to think about how your scholarship, how your gift can make it possible, can enable someone, a younger version of you, to get that chance to go here, maybe study engineering. We got a top-notch engineering program, same one they have in Pitt, but I dare say a better location. Don't tell them I said that. We have the same high-quality nursing program. In fact, our nursing program here in Johnstown is rated top 10 in the entire United States. Think about that. You come to a beautiful place like this, a small campus, and that's a competitive edge when it comes to recruiting, a small, comfortable, safe campus where people know one another. And then if you get supported by some generous scholarship from you, our alumni out there and friends, some generous gift that makes it possible for you to attend, make it more affordable, more accessible. And then you get a Pitt quality education, meaning we're Pitt alumni worldwide, 350,000 strong. When you attend UPJ, you get the same Pitt degree. And that Pitt degree is a powerful, powerful ticket that puts you on the path to great paying jobs in our community here, in our region, in the Commonwealth. And so today, as the senator said, and as everyone before has said, on Pitt Day of Giving, we want to say thank you, and we want to say there's more work to be done. We're facing more challenges, and we need you out there. So join us, please.
And thank you, Mr. President. You can see how enthusiastic we have as a leader here at UPJ. So we're asking here, Pitt Day Giving, the 1 day of giving that we're asking cut a check, or a monthly stipend that
we need both.
We need both. But there's one other thing that sometimes we don't think about. And now that I'm in my autumn of my years, you start thinking about bequeathing. So there's other ways that you can give to the university, and that is upon, we hate to say it, upon your demise, but perhaps you can make a contribution in some of the inheritance that your children may not need, perhaps another generation of children at UPJ. But there's many ways of giving, but today is Pitt Day of Giving, so, and Matt repeats that link all the time, so he has it memorized.
upj.pitt.edu/PDOG.
And UPJ is now making a presence back downtown, I understand, Mr. President. You're
Well, yes, we are excited about the prospects of taking an advanced manufacturing program to support workforce development, help our community make that transition to a new manufacturing, and really help rejuvenate and stimulate economic activity downtown. We see ourselves as a catalyst for economic progress and social mobility. And so we're going to have a presence downtown, and it will be to support folks who are looking for some, upskilling, new skills in advanced manufacturing, for example, to support community members who maybe are thinking, I've heard about the semiconductor industry. What kind of skills do I need to perhaps participate in that industry? We look forward to supporting that. It's also going to be accessible, I want to say, to high school students in the community. So we partnered with the Greater Johnstown School District and other high schools, obviously Richland, our neighbor here, Forest Hills, to create that pathway from high school, perhaps to community college or VOTEC or UPJ, to support people who are looking for to upskill. And so it's an exciting opportunity to go downtown again.
And as a Johnstowner, we appreciate that effort of in helping support downtown, because where that city goes, so does everything. And what people don't understand is that the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown is an incredible economic hubris for the area. I mean, you have the students coming from the four corners, you've got the faculty, you've got these buildings, construction. There's a tremendous economic impact in the Cambria-Somerset region just by having UPJ here. So your dollars, and as Dr. Spector puts it, your love, helps everything we can do to drive down the cost of that tuition, helps enhance getting students here. And that's the bottom line, to get quality students so they get a quality education, so they get a quality job.
And I think the senator is exactly right in making that connection between the university and the community. Because you see, I just recently spoke to a supporter, a donor of UPJ, who said supporting UPJ for him was much more than just about supporting the university, which is very important. It's the alma mater, and he loves it. But he was very, very impressed with the strong ties that we have with the community, the collaboration, the partnerships, our Code for STEM program that helps support teaching kids in the school districts basic computer science and coding. We have had the community teams partnership, where faculty have worked with families in the community to increase social mobility. We have the efforts that we've undertaken here up in Richland to make our environment more livable, more sustainable, and ultimately to improve quality of life. And I'm speaking specifically of our sidewalk and trail project, where we connected various parts of the community through a sidewalk that we raised funds from many sources to construct. And that sidewalk now makes it possible for students to walk almost all the way to the town center in Walmart. And it's more safe. And not just students, but community members, families with kids. So when you support the university, obviously you're doing a great thing, and we thank you for that. You're supporting your alma mater, you're paying it forward. But you're doing something that also supports and strengthens our community, strengthens Johnstown, strengthens the region, because the university is an anchor institution which is responsible it has a very large economic impact, almost $150 million of impact in our community. And we are one of the top employers in the area as well. And we do take that relationship with the community to heart. It's part of our new strategic plan to have that presence downtown and to build that bridge to the city of Johnstown.
And I'm going to turn it over to Dave in a moment here, but I think it's important to note that this is an open invitation, I'm sure the president will agree with me, to come and visit your campus. Particularly if you graduated around the time that I did in the late 70s, you'd be absolutely amazed at the growth of this campus and how beautiful it really is, from the engineering building to the nursing building, and what the alumni are doing. And Mr. President, you did a great pick in finding Dave to run the Alumni Outreach Organization. I think he should touch a little bit and make that invitation to May 31st for the golf outing. And why don't you tell some of the things, as inviting people in, some of the groups that have come back to the campus and have visited here.
Sure, John. But before I do that, I just want to make one point. You know, we talk about Pitt Day of Giving. There's an old saying that Rome wasn't built in a day. This campus wasn't built in a day, and it will take more than just Pitt Day of Giving. And what we've talked about earlier, before I get into what we're going to do forward, is we're asking people not only make that donation today, but make that donation every month. Make it, let's go from Pitt Day of Giving to how about we call it Pitt Year of Giving. You know, I said it earlier, if that $5, $10, $20, $30 donation, if it didn't hurt today, it's not going to hurt for the next 12 months. You can do that, you know, Matt will show a little bit later how you can do that right on our webpage. But it really, you know, when you look behind us, the beautiful campus that Dr. Spector talked about, that John talks about consistently, is here from decades and generations of giving. And a lot of those giving in those generations were someone who said, I'm going to make a $20, $50, $10 donation each month. So that's my giving pitch. Let me talk a little bit about John's introduction. So, you know, we want to bring alumni back because we want alumni to feel that connection. We've had, in the past, we've had natural sciences come back. We've had the Delta Chi come back. We've had Delta Sigma Chi come back. We've had, oh my God, the
Alpha Xi Delta?
Alpha Xi Delta ladies came back as far away as from Canada. And we're working on some things right now that we're real excited about. And you can follow those on our Facebook page and our LinkedIn page. In the next hour, we'll talk a little bit about plans that are underway for the engineering, science, and computer
What
science.
is our Facebook page? What's it called? So people that aren't there, they can go in there. And
Facebook page is...
Hold, please.
Yeah, hold please. Matt's going to pull it up as we continue to talk here. So we have engineering and computer science coming up. Earlier in the hour before, we had talked about cross country and soccer. Last year, and we're going to do it again next year, we did a very successful soccer reunion where both the men's and women's came back. Some of the more seasoned athletes played against some of the Sprout athletes in a couple of games. Also looking to do that with cross country and track. Big thing coming up also is our all-Greek reunion, which is going to tie in nicely to our golf outing on May 31st. I just want to put that invitation. This is a day of invitations. I want to put that invitation out there. If you were an affinity group, if you're a group of guys you just hung out, or a group of women that just hung out, and you want to come back and you want to tour the campus, you want to. We'll be doing some things actually as we're venturing into some of our reunions to offering overnight stays here on campus. Contact my office, dgjj7@pitt.edu. We'll make arrangements. We also have business and enterprise we're working on a reunion. So we want you to come back. The doors are never closed. It's as easy as contacting anyone in this room. It's probably more efficient just to contact me directly, and we'll get you worked in here. We'll, it's always one of those good afternoons whenever I get a call from admissions downstairs to say there's a new student that's here looking at the campus, and both their mother and their father went to school here. We connect them in, we do a little tour, but come back to campus, and that Facebook page and LinkedIn page.
If you get on Facebook, you want to search for University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown Alumni Association, you'll find our page. It is currently a yellow profile. It says Pitt-Johnstown Alumni, celebrating our 50 years of being a 4-year degree-granting institution as we are approaching our 100th anniversary in not that long. And LinkedIn page is University of Pittsburgh-Johnstown.
We also focus every week. I just want to make another point out to that. If you follow those pages, we'll focus on alumni businesses, alumni highlights. It's an open page. If you're an alum out there that's running a business and would like to be highlighted, we'd be more than happy to highlight you out to the 12,000 people that follow us on LinkedIn and the almost 1,000 that follow us on our Facebook page. So it's very interactive. If you even had a college memory that you wanted to be part of the Throwback Thursday, send me a photograph, send me the story, and we'll get that up, because that is the connection that keeps us connected and keeps bringing us back to continue on into the future.
The monthly donation, and it's a thing that's long term. Certainly, we want everyone at the Pitt Day of Giving, because today helps us a good bit as well. But I got talked into doing a monthly donation. I was cornered at a donation event. You cornered me, Dr. Spector, at a donation event.
That makes two of us, because I think he talked me into making a monthly donation also. So he's definitely
and had a very good pitch for that. That's a vision of yours. Do you want to talk a little bit about?
Yeah, yes, indeed. I think that what we discovered, what we found over the years, is that our most enthusiastic supporters, many of them, have actually been giving for, some of them 20 years, some 30. And I do know one case of a gentleman that I know very well, just saw him the other day at the Pascarella Performing Arts Center, who has given for 40 years straight. And what I discovered is that, what we've discovered is that the best way to plan a long-term campaign is not to wake up and say, well, give us everything today. No one has everything to give on any given day. But to take the long view, to say it's going to be a marathon. We're going to go on a long journey. For example, we are aiming at 2027, our 100th anniversary, as a destination point. So if someone were to commit to giving, just $5 every month between now and 2027, that's going to turn out to be a very significant gift. But it's all in small steps, in bite-sized pieces. Especially, I found this appeal works for our young, the alumni who just graduated. Maybe they got their first job, and maybe they certainly are in no position to make that $10,000 gift. But virtually every single one that we've talked to about this initiative to give 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, but 5 every month, folks, I can do that. That's all I have to do. We say, yeah, you just have to pay it forward. It's not the size of the gift. Every gift, however quote unquote small, has the same amount of love and generosity of spirit. And that's what counts. It's not really. Now, don't get me wrong. If you've got $1 million out there,
we will take your $1 million.
Please send it. We will love you more. But no, seriously
we don't
speaking.
Need that one at $5
no,
a pop.
seriously. It's not the size of the gift, friends. It's not the size. Pitt Day of Giving is about showing your love. And you could show your love with as small a gift as we can process, which I understand is $5. And we will be happy to process $5. And really, don't think it's too small. What we hope and what we encourage you to do is, yes, that $5 gift this month, maybe next month, the following month, and let's make it a habit as we move towards our 100th anniversary and we broaden the base of support. And remember, it's just how much love you show us, not the size of the gift, not whether it's 10 or 20,000. That'll be nice, and there are many people who've done that. I just told we just closed, working to close a very large gift recently. That's quite significant, but that's not how we measure it. At least I'll speak for myself. Every donor, everybody, no matter how small your gift, no matter whether it's at $5, you earn the same gratitude and the same appreciation and the same just level of just enthusiasm for you as a supporter of UPJ. And for those of you who cannot give for whatever reason right now, that's all right too. You're showing us your love and your support by being present, by participating, by speaking well of the university you attended, reminding people, I went to that engineering program. Students that graduate today, they make almost as much as you would make going to a top school anywhere in the United States. And it's in Johnstown, and it's a safe place, and it's a community place. So Pit Day of Giving, I always say it's not just about asking for gifts. That's actually, to me, sometimes people do that too much. What I really think is important is to thank you for everything that you've been giving to UPJ, whether it's just giving to us by your presence as a doctor or surgeon or police officer or judge and telling folks, I graduated from UPJ. They gave me the foundation that enables me to serve in my community, in the military, in the legislature, to serve with honor and distinction. That's giving to UPJ. So keep on giving to us by your service, keep on giving to us by how well you represent us in your communities, respective communities around the United States and the world. And yes, as everyone has said, if you could make that $5 gift today, make it, and then make it next month, and keep making it till we get to 2027, and we're going to celebrate you as one of our greatest champions.
I think it's telling, and you hit it a couple times, Dr. Spector, in what was apparently a hastily, very well put together note by Lori about some of the achievements in academic. You talked about our programs. Certainly the engineering being so well known. Nursing, I'm going to tell you, a personal story here on the live stream for everybody. All four of us sat a year ago, and there was a legitimate concern I wouldn't be here for this live stream. And every time through my treatment and my condition and everything, whether it was locally, whether it was Somerset, whether it was Pittsburgh, and an internationally known transport, I'm a nurse. I went to UPJ. Oh, I'm from John. Yeah, I went to UPJ. Is so and so is this professor there? Or is that one? Did you ever have this? And they were everywhere.
Oh, UPJ people are everywhere, my friend.
And
We are
some
legion.
of the things, the highlights about being in U.S. News and World Report.
Yes.
Veterans friendly. All these recognitions from an academic standpoint. That has to make you very proud.
Absolutely. And you mentioned U.S. News and World Report. Imagine to my surprise to my delight, I should say, when just in the last few months, we received word that we are now one of the top 10 public regional colleges in the entire Northeast. Public regional baccalaureate colleges, one of the top 10. Then when you compare us with public and private schools, we are in the top 15. And that includes the top private schools as well. And this category is near and dear to my heart because, on our campus here, we have a great memorial for our veterans.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we were selected and recognized as among the top 5 public regional colleges in the Northeast when it comes to supporting our veterans. That one really, hits very close to home for us here because we're a very veteran-friendly campus. So yes, the recognitions by U.S. News and by Brookings Institution, by just so many other places.
You mentioned. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. But the recognition that I really prize the most is when I run into an employer, and I run into many of them, and they say to me, the UPJ people, the UPJ grads I hire in engineering or in teaching or nursing, or the UPJ grad who is working in my business, that's the best employee I have. And there are so many employers who recognize that UPJ graduates, UPJ people are generating value for their places of work. And that really, to me, is the greatest recognition.
And once again, it's Pitt Day of Giving, UPJ Day of Giving. Many hands make light work. I don't know how many people are watching this live stream, but if you could talk to your friends that graduated, that $5 or $10, I don't know how many people we have graduated over the past 100 years almost, but it has
We're
to be
about 22,000.
22,000 people. Could you imagine if we had 22,000 people giving $5,000 or $10,000? We could really create.
Well, $5 or $10.
Well, that would be good, but
That would be nice. That would be nice. True. That would be nice. but-
okay, reverse that. Giving $5 or $10 a month, we really could have an impact out there in making our school competitive and bringing those students here.
But I think, John, to kind of defend you here, think about the ones that haven't given. That's our 5, that's our 10. Make that leap today.
Not to 10,000 to 5,000.
Well, we want the 10,000 to 5,000, the millions.
Right.
But if you haven't done it, you'd be amazing how painless it is to make that monthly small donation if you've never done it before.
And again, I know, friends, there's a lot about giving, and we want to talk about giving. But I always spend this day, and every time I get a chance to talk to you, our alumni, to thank you for the giving that you have already done. It's important that you know that everything that you have done since you graduated continues to be a gift of sorts that builds the reputation of the university. And those who've given us time, we value that as well. Those who've given us support, when we've asked for support, especially during the period where we're trying to build support for our appropriation in the legislature. Some of you write letters to your legislators. Some of you call. We appreciate that as well. Those of you who show up at our games and support our teams, we love that. So any way that you give to this alma mater is very much appreciated. And no gift is too small. And every gift, when scaled up, has a big impact. And so with many people giving gifts of 5 or 10, as that happens, that potentially is another student getting a scholarship who someday becomes a physician or a nurse or a police officer like you, who someday becomes a business person and a teacher. So every gift impacts access to college, affordability, the quality and satisfaction of students in the experience that they have on campus. So yes, on Pitt Day of Giving, we ask you to think about us, to make a low gift, but I always want to emphasize, and I can't say it enough, thank you for everything that you have done so far, that you continue to do by representing us with distinction and excellence and contributing in so many ways to the quality of life in your community and the strength of the Commonwealth and our country.
And for a little bit of nostalgia, too. Just remember when you were young and on campus and all the people that you met. And we talk about the $5 and $10, that can't even buy you a Big Mac anymore. So we can afford to skip a Big Mac once in a month and make a country. I don't think we're starving.
I think what John's saying is make healthier choices.
Yes, make a healthy choice, because once that Big Mac or that cup of Starbucks is gone, it's gone. But the $5 or the $10 that you contribute monthly to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown goes a long way to the education of another generation of people that would certainly appreciate it.
And in addition to giving, and we appreciate your gifts, but also give us your ideas. I can't tell you the number of times I've spoken to an alum who suggested something. I've followed up on that suggestion, and we've actually gone on to incorporate it into our strategic plan, into our plan of action, into our annual plan. So we're not only asking you, and we are, to make a gift of any size that you can, relative to your capacity and ability to give. We appreciate that. But we're also asking you to give us your engagement, your advice, your to keep track of what we're doing and perhaps make suggestions about, I certainly welcome suggestions on how to improve the experience for our students, for new programs that perhaps we should consider, for new ways that we should engage our community. So remember, your alma mater is not just a place that calls you and asks you to give. It's also money. It's to say, look, you're still part of this. It's like that Hotel California, right? Hopefully you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave, right? Because you're part of the family. So we want you to keep engaging with us, not just through giving, but through your enthusiasm at our athletic events, but also through your partnership in giving advice and in encouraging us, and perhaps even, when necessary, criticizing us so we get better.
There's an amazing series of engagement levels that go with that, and there are times that you talk to folks that they think, well, it's just come back to a basketball game or something, which are great to see. Wednesday night again, I have to keep plugging their game, doubleheader tomorrow night, but it's also things like the support from the alumni that you have given access to David and his folk, Lori in the office here, and how great they've been to us. The support you give when we come up with Hairbrain. When David comes to you and says, hey, we're going to do a podcast, and you're like, great, run with it, see what happens. Or a bonfire. Those sorts of things. That the engagement around concepts, ideas, education. You had a great speaker series. I was very, very lucky and very grateful to be invited to speak and sit and talk and have dinner with one of the alum that you had. That it's all these different components that are working and coming together. That if you have an interest, you can express and understand and explore that interest here at UPJ.
Thank you for mentioning the speaker series, because one of the ways that alumni are engaging these days is through what we're calling our SAGE program. The SAGE is sound advice across and generational exchanges, sound advice and generational exchanges. So what we're doing is we're partnering, bringing together alumni who have experience in different fields to sit and talk and give advice and listen to young people, and they have this intergenerational exchange. So it's sound advice, generational exchanges, the SAGE program. We actually are lucky that we invited 2 alumni who graduated in the 60s, Don Freeborn and Andy Hovanek. We invited them to join, to come to campus and speak, but they will be joining another speaker, Gregory Robinson, who used to be the director a senior director and administrator at NASA for a very important, perhaps one of the most important NASA programs, the James Webb Telescope project. Yeah. Now, Gregory Robinson is not an alum, but Andy Hovanek and Don Freeborn are alums who helped build the original space program back in the 60s. And so they both participated in the space program as UPJ alums, and they were there with folks from MIT and Caltech, you name it, UPJ graduates. Even better, the James Webb project, which the James Webb Telescope, which by many accounts is probably one of the most complex and sophisticated technological achievements ever. A UPJ alum was present. Don Freeborn worked on the James Webb Telescope. So we are excited about the prospects of bringing alumni like that with experience from various fields. We've had medical doctors participate in that SAGE program. So if you are an alum out there who wants to spend time with us here, I usually am present and sometimes interview the SAGE, and then there are students who attend, and it's your way of perhaps sharing your experience and your insights, what you learned along the way, and hopefully paying it forward so the next great researcher or surgeon or inventor or business person could be one of those students that you talk to during our SAGE program. So I know today is about giving, but I always say giving is not just about money. Give us your love, give us your ideas, give us your wisdom, and there are students here who would be very, very appreciative.
And let me piggyback on that, because we're all talking about asking, and I've always heard it before, what's in it for me? Well, what's in it for you is you can use the alumni website, you can use our social media to advertise your businesses. If you're looking for employees, you can use that site to try to find UPJ graduates that might fit the niche that you're looking for. Use and take advantage of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown and its network to expand your business and grow your business, which is what the entire concept is of the business community and the education of another generation. But use the university to your benefit too, because it's here not just the 4 years that you were here, but for the rest of your life.
Remember, it's like Hotel California, right? You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You're always part of this family, the UPJ family of alumni, as part of, I think 23,000 of us, and then part of Pitt World, 350,000 alumni or so across the world.
It's the connection that students have, and John, that's a great point. I often stress that in all my classes, especially my business and enterprise courses, is, hey, make that connection, because you're going to talk to somebody, you're going to have that recruiter, you're going to have that interview with somebody, and have that connection and say, oh, I was at UPJ too, and the interview will change from, explain why we should hire you, to, hey, does that dorm can you still smell when they're cooking lunch from Oak Hall?
I don't think that's what I was smelling back in the 70s at that dormitory.
Maybe that's what you were cooking.
I like what you
I
just said.
tried
You're right.
very hard, Dr. Spector. We could have a conversation amongst ourselves. Let John do his.
But he's right on the impact of the network. And so that's important. And if you're an alum out there, please, again, one way to engage is to participate in that network of alumni across the United States and across the world, because our students benefit from that. I've talked to alums who've hired students after they met me, and I mentioned, oh, such and such student has this experience. They go, good grief. I was looking for that particular type of expertise. And so I get a double bonus. I hire somebody who is very talented, went to one of the best schools in the United States, and above all, who is an alum and has the same kind of background as experience as I did when I attended. So importance of the network and being part of the, engaging that network, visiting the website, the LinkedIn page that Dave talked about, the Facebook page. What's the Facebook page again? Go ahead.
So the Facebook page is University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown Alumni Association. It'll take you right to that page. I also want to, before we move on to the next segment, when we talk about giving your time, we are very fortunate to have a very active Alumni Association executive board, to the extent that each year when we do elections, we have to do elections because there are more people interested than seats we have. So to Matt's point, and to your point, Dr. Spector, and John's point, seeing those alum, whether they come to volunteer, whether they, alum on our board that have not only, not only some alum in their company, but the majority of their company are UPJ alums. But it's also, the alum coming out and being part of that organization is real important. So that withstanding, I want to make sure we mention the time, whether it's the Mountain Cat tournament that's put on completely by alum, the golf tournament that's put on completely by alum. Any of these reunions we do, I'm only one person. That board gets behind those reunions and make sure they happen. Make sure that we have alum here to do the tours. So there's that time that sometimes time is more precious than the money that you have in your wallet, and that is so appreciative.
One of the things, and actually, John, you kind of highlighted it, the idea about the golf tournament. People could come in Thursday and stay over, and then I'm thinking that'd be a great evening for tours, and I realized Dave and I were going to have to golf the next day after we do a 3-hour tour around campus. But those are all events, and I want to thank both our alumni board and the people that, John, you and I get to work with, as well as certainly from the alumni side, Dr. Spector, your help and support over the last years, making our board a much more active and participatory member of this community.
Thank you. Both you and the Senator have been just amazing colleagues and partners to work with. Your enthusiasm, both of you, as well as that Dave Janusek brings. It's really made events like this very special, and I want to give a shout out to folks who organized the special Valentine's Day alumni event. I mean, one of the most beautiful events, and if you don't mind, I'll put a plug in for that, because you guys did a great job. So for you out there, if you met your partner or spouse at UPJ, we do this special Valentine's Day event where we invite you back to campus and host a really special dinner. And it was wonderful this year to see so many Mountain Cat couples who met and fell in love and connected. And so that's one of the great new ideas that the team here has initiated that I very much found. I had a wonderful time, and I met so many Mountain Cat couples. So, and I had a little selfish interest because it's like 2 for 1, right? Each time you get, so, but anyway.
2 alumni.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I brought that up earlier. I said, because of Mountain Cat couples, I said, and look, you met your spouse here. Isn't that worth $5 or $10 a month?
That's worth
just
a lot
for
more
that?
than 5.
Or,
For those
or
folks
some it
to
might not
five,
be, but I mean.
no more $5 or $10. If you met your spouse at UPJ, we need a finder's fee. We need our commission. The last I checked was like what. 12%,
Maybe 20,
10%
25,
of salary.
yes.
10, no, just kidding.
Oh, tithing. Let's tithe. It's tithing.
10% no, we're kidding. But
Well,
seriously.
David's a Mountain Cat couple, so
Yeah.
where's your wallet?
My
How
wallet's
much
in
is
my
Denise
back
worth
pocket.
to you?
What's in your wallet? Yes.
on a serious note, if you met and fell in love here, then what we know that you and your partner and spouse have even a household that's full of UPJ love, and we thank you for your support over the years, and hope you come back to our special Valentine's Day event. I had a great time there this year.
And even that participation in those events, that's your time. Nothing's worse than putting on an event and nobody shows up. Yeah. But when those alum come out and they whether they send something to be put on the Mountain Cat couple part that we do on Facebook, or whether they come to that dinner, that makes, I think, everybody that put it together feel special.
It was truly special.
You
the
guys
place was lit
participated.
up really nicely. The decor at the Murtha Center, it just looked beautiful. And I thought, yeah, we should do this again. And maybe if you're out there, and by the way, if you're an alum visiting the area and you happen to be in town for a day, the president's office is always open, is always welcoming, and there's a welcome mat there for you. And I can assure you that everybody who's visited left with something special, but I can't tell you what it would be, so you'd have to visit to find out.
Let's remind folks where you can donate. upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. PDOG will get you right to the page where you can click the donation or see the live stream. That's also a great page that you can share out to friends and family, co-workers, anybody, to get them involved. Let's take a quick peek here at the updated location, how we're doing here. Oh,
So Matt's going to go live here.
I'm going to hit the reload button, and we'll see
Move out of the way.
where we're at. We're closing in on 90 donations. We're under 100 left to meet our goal for the day. We've raised $16,446 from 89 unique donors already. So we are well on the way to meeting and exceeding our goal.
And to remind everybody that it's not the large quantity, although
The dollar
President
amount.
would win the dollar amount. But every time a person signs up, we get a little check mark at Pitt, which helps us financially too, by just having sheer numbers of new contributors. So that's important.
If you're an alum, donate. If your spouse isn't, have them donate separately as a friend. You can absolutely. They're a friend. They've benefited from your time here at UPJ. Absolutely.
And if you cannot give today, then another day, keep us in mind. So it's important that, again, I always say these engagements are not about one day or 1 week or 1 month or 1 year. These are lifelong engagements. And what we strive to build, and what we are trying to build, and I think we've had a lot of success because of you all out there, is a community of enthusiastic, engaged, involved UPJ alumni who participate in different ways throughout the year. So if you've not participated in a long time in your alma mater, I want to send you an invitation to reconnect, to take this opportunity. So in addition to asking you to give and to support the university, but first and foremost, I want you to reconnect with your UPJ family and take advantage of the enormous network and resources and connections and communications platforms that are available. But also, quite frankly, what I've discovered is that some of the happiest people that I meet are alumni who are together with their brothers or sisters from their sorority who have a reunion. So reconnecting with UPJ, reconnecting with the university, yeah, it might cost you that $10 or $20 today, but what you stand to benefit by being reconnected with friends and people that you went to college with in fellowship, in reunions, that is a source of great happiness and joy. And in fact, Harvard University did a study of alumni and found out that those alumni who stayed connected and who were, remained friends were happier than the general population. So being connected to your alma mater can actually make you healthier and happier. Imagine that, right? And there's a study, the Harvard alumni study.
That's why I'd never get sick.
Speaking of connection, if also the one thing that we forgot to talk about a little earlier, that if you're an alum and you're not local, after you've graciously donated your $5 or more to Pitt Day Giving, pop in on the campus bookstore webpage. There are alumni packs and that you can get, and then you could wear your UPJ and Pitt-Johnstown affiliation proud. There's starting to see. Actually, I was ordered a Pitt-Johnstown Geography and Environmental Science Department shirt to wear today. That will be here tomorrow.
Wonderful.
So for next year when we do this, that's what I'll be wearing.
Wonderful.
Also, before I don't know if you mentioned it yet today, it costs you nothing. Every Wednesday we drop our podcast, Tuck Shop Podcast. So it costs you nothing to listen to hear some of those alum. Don Freeburn was on a few weeks ago.
I know. Yes, I know.
Fascinating discussion.
Oh, he was. Yes.
But you never know, and it's generations. We may have somebody on from '70s. We may have somebody on that just recently graduated.
And if you want to be part of that SAGE program, we could even do it in a podcast. Some of it.
We would be welcome. We're glad to do that.
And to invite to have you sit down with students and talk about your experience, and we could broadcast at least some of it.
We're set. Actually, now I'm ready to go. I'm excited about that.
It is really a great program. And again, that I'm making that special call out to those of you with a lot of experience in your fields, and I invite people, whether they are medical doctors, teachers. We've had a great sage who was a teacher who taught in the Johnstown School District for over 50 years, and she came back and talked about her experience to current students. So I'm inviting you. It's a personal invite. If you are someone out there with a lot of experience and want to share, we can create that platform where you're not just sharing your experience, but you get to hear from young people today and to hear about their lives and what they think is important and why they think it's important. And you get to see the university with a fresh pair of eyes, because obviously you have your experience over decades, but now you're seeing the current students and you're impacting them. And by so doing and reconnecting with your alma mater, you are impacting the future as well. So it's not just about giving. To me, it's really more about connection and community and engagement.
It's a great opportunity. Just a real quick plug, tomorrow's episode drops with both Bruce and Brett Hasselrig. So that'll be fun.
Talk Shop Podcast.
Bruce
Dr.
is gonna be
Spector,
on.
we're wrapping up your hour.
Okay.
Anything you want to leave us with, words of wisdom, encouragement? Don't understand why we'd be crazy enough to do this for 4 hours, but I would have certainly thank you for your time, taking a whole hour of your day to spend with us for this.
No, the thanks go to you guys for doing this, for creating this platform. I know this was an idea that you and the senator here, you both developed this concept of a podcast.
He built all of this.
Yes,
Very technically.
I must say, at
With
first
my
I
bare hands.
wasn't sure how it's going to work, but I've come to enjoy sitting down in this with you in this opportunity. So thank you for what you're doing, for your role. Thank you for inviting more alumni to stay connected. Thank you for encouraging people to remember their alma mater and to give when they can and to give relative to their capacity. And if they can make that $5 gift every month, as you all have been saying, we think that would be wonderful. If they can't give now or this year, to make a plan to do so sometime in the future. But as I've always said, for me, Pitt Day of Giving, there's not just one G giving, there's two G. There's giving and gratitude. For me, it's always UPJ, Pitt Day of Giving, and UPJ Day of Gratitude. And on behalf of a very grateful university, the faculty, the staff, the students, thank you all for what you're doing to support UPJ by your gifts, by your time, by your talents. Thank you for representing us really exceptionally well in extraordinary ways, extraordinary capacities where, in any walk of life, we appreciate that. Thank you for being community members who are generating value in your respective capacities, in your respective jobs, because that's really what the university is about. The university is a place where people come here, and we pride ourselves, and we've talked about the distinctions, U.S. News World Report, etc. But people come here and they acquire the skills and the talents and the competencies that they need to go out into the world in productive and rewarding careers, jobs that pay well to help sustain a family, and then they go on to be more active in their communities as citizens to help build our communities from the ground up as active and informed and engaged citizens, and that's you out there. And then finally, we think that your alma mater then has put you in that place where you're not just doing well for yourself and your family is doing well, but you're able to give back a little bit. So we thank you for everything you're doing, and we hope that you keep giving us your time and your support. And above all, I invite you to visit the campus anytime, and if you're here as an alum, I'm always available to meet and chat with you. Thank you all out there, and thanks, folks, for this. You're doing a great job, you guys. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Again, everyone, upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG. We're going to take and get resituated, and we're going to welcome all of our academic divisions here over the next 2 hours. And we're back live here on Pitt Day Giving live stream, upj.pitt.edu/PDOG for the donation, as well as to see the live stream. If you already are on the live stream, go to that webpage and give a donation. If you have a webpage or a social media you can share that out on, please do. We have a couple more hours here of the live stream, and Pitt Day Giving goes through to midnight tonight. But we definitely want to make it. We've cracked the halfway point of our goal, so we have a decent way to go, but we're making progress. We get to now welcome our academic divisions. And we're going to start with the engineers. So, John, people more smarter than us, you and I.
Pretty much.
Tanya Kinsberger, welcome, Tanya, from Engineering and Computer Science.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for coming. What's how's engineering going? What kind of things are going on down there? And why would people want to say, I'm going to give my $5, $10, $50, $100 to help out? Where can that go to help you and your division?
So, one of the great things about engineering and computer science, we are the largest division here on campus. We have almost 500 students in our 6 different programs. And really helping out means helping our students, because that's why we're all here. That's one of the great things. We have student organizations that do so many different things, and because there are so many students and they're doing all these different things, there's a great opportunity for us to support, but it means that we need more support because there's always that next challenge that they're looking to do.
And it's certainly something that the opportunity of seeing the building. John, I don't know if you've toured the engineering too much since it's
helped get some of the capital budget money to build it. So
yeah, that's what I kind of figured. But David and I did summer tours with incoming students and so forth, and they were very knowledgeable engineering students coming in. That made it look. They seemed very rewarding to see that interest and excitement. We knew nothing. We have a journalism and a journalism major and a geography major, and it's like, what is that? It looks expensive. That's all I know.
I was going to show them where the locomotives were kept.
Yeah, we keep those hidden so that people don't equate too heavily.
So if you're an engineering graduate and you're watching this, please, $5, $10 a month, or a direct contribution to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown would be greatly appreciated. I have a question. I went to school back here, 74 to 78. And back at that time, and it took us decades to get accredited to get the PE. I think that's the correct term, professional engineer. Mm-hmm. But even so, the employers, they said, you know what? We're more interested in the pragmatic knowledge that the University of Pittsburgh taught the engineering students. And those students got jobs almost immediately stepped off campus back in those days. Now, obviously, to have that PE at the end of it in an engineering degree gives you a credential. But the reality of it is those people with that pragmatic engineering diploma from UPJ really were something that the business world was looking for more than that's what I'm looking for, the textbook work that the PEs do. So maybe you can...
Yeah, so absolutely. And in fact, they don't even have to step off campus now to have the jobs. We have a number of our students who are graduating in May who already have their jobs lined up right now because UPJ is known for producing strong engineers. We had our engineering day last fall. We had over 80 companies come back. Many of them were alumni coming back to see our students, meet, talk with them, get them, offer them opportunities for internships, full-time positions, all of that. And it's because all that expensive equipment that you talk about seeing and everything, we bring real world into our classroom.
Like that concrete canoe?
The concrete canoe. Our faculty all have practical experience, full work experience, and so they're not coming just from that PhD mindset. They're coming from here's what industry does. Many of them still practice in industry, and so that's a great opportunity. And the students can do activities outside of the classroom like concrete canoe, Baja, ChemiCar.
We met the Baja.
The Baja
students.
team was very helpful and almost.
They used diesel fuel to try to start the bonfire. They needed to use kerosene. They had I had to pull out some flares out of my truck because I couldn't get the thing started. But
That's
another
a
story.
vision that will never leave my mind. Is you walking through the parking lot with this giant road flare.
Yeah, somebody said, look at the stick of dynamite. I said, no, it's a flare. So, once again, if you're in engineering and you're still out there, an opportunity for another generation of engineers, your $5 or $10 or a direct check to UPJ Giving Day is more than appreciated, because as you can see, and I guess the dean of the department,
Yep.
the dean, she makes it quite clear that before they step out of the university, these people have employment. So I think that's remarkable in a competitive world out there, how well UPJ does.
Yeah.
You have almost a dual department in the sense that it also includes computer science.
Absolutely. And so I think it's a great combination for those two programs. We're a little bit separated by distance, but I think that we make up for that in working to have some collaborations. And our computer science faculty have that same mindset that our engineers have. That practical experience, that opportunity for those students to get some hands-on interactive so that they are just as competitive when they go out into the workforce. And we've got some exciting things that we're looking at doing to get some labs built for our computer science students as well.
And that would go a long way to folks who want to help and give today. That would go a long way to that.
Absolutely.
One of the things we also want to talk about, too, with you here is not just the great things going on with Pitt Day of Giving, but Engineering Week's coming up.
It is.
Oh, boy.
And so officially, one of the
Well,
things.
that's how enthusiastic engineers are.
Oh, come on. That doesn't give us enough credit. I can get excited.
Yes, you can.
I'm a
Yes,
geotech.
you're
I get
good.
excited about dirt,
You're
so
good.
you want to question some things. But actually, this week right now is Engineers Week for the rest of the world. But UPJ
That's right.
isn't willing to share it, and we actually do it a little bit later on when I found out it's warmer. Although it's been nice here.
You
And
have
so-
not gotten the full
I have not gotten the
UPJ
full.
winter
I know.
experience yet.
I've been told it's
When it's
been,
warmer at
it's being
UPJ in
kind.
July.
Yeah.
So not quite that late, but yes, we do. And the great things we've got, as the rest of the divisions have, we have the opportunity for our 50th celebration for engineering and computer science, and we've got the plan because I can't remember the
Yes,
dates, so I'm
I
really
love
glad. So starting on March 23rd. Is when we're going to have a kind of picnic family event to bring everyone on campus. So if you want to see that building you were talking about, you can come on out and get a chance to see the building. We're going to showcase some of the different student activities as well as some of the labs, classrooms, everything. So if you were here a little while ago before the building got renovated, you can see the new space. And then we have events going on throughout the week for our students, but then also for people who want to visit. And we've got a dinner on the Thursday, if I'm correct. Yes. And we've got some of our alums who are coming to speak on the Wednesday. And so there's a lot of different opportunities for people to come and join for one or all of the events. See campus.
And if you're an engineer out there, and I don't know, do they scratch their heads? Or maybe you're an
We
engineer out
never
there.
have questions. So
They have a question, well, how do I find out about this? We will be dropping e-invitations within the week with a full registration page. So don't feel that you're out of the loop. We're just kind of backed up a little bit against Pitt Day of Giving here, but Institutional Advancement will be sending out the invitations for registration for the picnic, for the speaking series, for the dinner, and as Dr. Kunberg said, we'd love to see some engineers come up during the day, check out
Absolutely.
some of that. No, really, it's the excitement of Engineering Week. I know.
Right.
And it'll also
Political-
be on the social media in
Economics.
case you have, as
business
alumni, may
sense.
have dropped off the email list, you changed an address or something, and we might not have your current. It'll also be on that Facebook and social and LinkedIn page as well. So in case you just
So-
don't see something,
right.
that doesn't mean if you can't find it out there. It probably just means we don't have your updated contact information.
But keep an eye on LinkedIn. Keep an eye on our Facebook page. Keep an eye on your mailbox. Keep an eye on your inbox. You're just going to be flooded and inundated with more information about that, about the events we have planned for that week. Computer science and engineering.
And Dean, you're a very enthusiastic head of a department too, I have to admit. And I had the dismal science, economics. So I guess we're the ones that on the one hand, give me a one-handed economist on one hand, but on the other hand. But and if you're an engineer, here's an open invite and an opportunity to come. And once again, the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown is trying to bring some more engineering students here, and your contribution helps do that, to help defray and get those scholarships, help defray the cost of that education, so we can be competitive among the other giants out there. And as Dr. Spector said earlier, and as we know about engineering, is it's one of the foremost engineering schools in the nation. I mean, I've heard about this even when I was a young man, so it's been around a long time. The reputation is real and it's honest, and I'll tell you what, people go out of their way to find UPJ to bring their children here to get that education.
Fantastic. Tanya, thank you so much for spending 15 minutes with us and just talking about engineering and your computer science program both.
Absolutely.
And the computer science.
Enjoyed it. Yes.
No, it's a very good department.
I think so.
Again,
So
thank you so
you.
much. Hopefully your next winner will be a true reflection of the Johnstown experience, and we'll see you when you're 3.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks. Again, I want to, while we're moving our pieces around here, I remind everyone who's that the Engineering and Computer Science Reunion Week is coming up here in March. Starts on the 23rd of March and runs through that whole week. Again, online, social media. The pit.edu or upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. Change my slide behind us here for social science. Welcome, Professor Chris Cook.
Hi. How are
Political science, international studies, representing social science.
Yep.
One of my 2 divisions. So
you? There you go.
welcome to Pitt Day Giving live stream. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
We're here. Let's get you in a little bit closer. We got to kind of
right.
eat that mic a little bit.
Yeah, Matt's been explaining that.
I usually don't have a problem with the mic, but my voice is quieter today.
Well, it's a very precarious system I got set up here. Social science. What is involved for those who don't know but are looking to say maybe I want to have $5 and I want to give it to some place? Social science. What's social science include now and encompasses here at UPJ?
Social science. It is history, political science. It's geography.
Yes.
It is sociology, and I think we're an exciting division. I think we do a lot of things. Criminal justice, I forgot criminal justice as well. And so, our students are a broad range of students. They go on to do a broad range of things. And so, for example, I just recently took students to a model European Union event at Pitt-Oakland. And they helped, they represented European countries and they did things. And
I actually did model EU when I was a student here.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dr. Heinrich was here.
Yes, yeah. God, I'm feeling old now. And so,
Sorry.
No, it's okay. And so, I mean, it isn't just one of the things I always like to stress about social sciences is that even though I'm a political science professor, I'm not training people to be political scientists, right? I mean, and it's more than just law school, right? Mm-hmm. So, and history isn't more than just working in a museum or being an historian. And so there's so many things that you can do with social science degrees. It's always things I like to stress.
And I think one of the things is you're the school of human communication, because it's all the history, the political science, the sociology. It's how human beings interact with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is all part of a liberal arts school. Is like you need that part. It's good to be the economist. It's good to be the engineer, but you need to know how to communicate or how the world operates, because it's the politicians that operate the world. It's the business community that does the business. But
the context is important, and I enjoy having engineering students in my classes. I think it's actually an honor sometimes to be able to. They have their gen ed requirements that they need to take certain classes in social sciences, and I'm glad they take it with me. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you try to explain to all students is that how it relates to how they see them as citizens, as people, not only as them being 20, 21 years old, but also their jobs and how they see themselves in their jobs and how they're connected to government and how it's connected to society and how it's connected to these things. So, I mean, I do enjoy that.
And you want to feel old? Dr. Alexander was my professor.
Oh, no.
Back in the day, and he's still teaching. But
Oh, dude.
Jim
So
did,
if there's
not,
anybody out there that-
did not leap at the opportunity to be on the live stream.
No.
But once again, it's Pitt Day of Giving. We have the social sciences here, and as we've been embarking on this, we're asking for obviously a check or $5, $10, $25 as a monthly stipend to give a continuous contribution to the university, so that we can help defray those costs, so that we can be competitive out there to bring more students here to this university and keep it vibrant and alive.
You know, I've discovered living here, I've run into a lot of Pitt-Johnstown alumni, and they all have wonderful memories of this place. They have wonderful memories. And it's not just education, even though I'm a professor, you'd like to make they have and, you know, yeah, I think it's an important part of the community, and I think it's an important part of people's lives, formative part of their lives. And, you know, we want to make sure that we always keep going, you know, like keep making sure that our students have all the access and resources they need.
And I think one of the brighter ends of UPJ is because it's the right size.
It is.
You have the opportunity to meet a lot of diverse people, but at the same time, you're on a personal level with these professors and the other pedagogues that are up here. It's not where you're sitting there with 1,000 students.
Showing off that UPJ.
Yes, I am. Turn out that. With 1,000 students in a lecture room listening to a professor way down in the well. The opportunities.
That
real.
is important. Something I always stress to parents. I always you've got to make sure that your student knows themselves, like your child knows who they are, because you can go to Oakland and you can sit in a 500-person lecture hall and get lost. Mm-hmm. And you'll do better academically here. You will do better here, you know? And I think, you know, everyone's different. So you have to make sure you keep that in mind. But like, I think some students were always better served being here with us in Johnstown.
You also have behind not just political science, but the international studies moniker. What talk a little bit about where international studies is, what's involved now, and how is it working, and the students involved, and all the components there.
International studies is an interdisciplinary kind of program that tries to connect. One of the things about what we try to do in Johnstown altogether is try to pool resources together, right? And so if we have varied classes in humanities that, for example, deal with international literature, international communications in the School of Humanities, we want to find ways to connect that to history, to political science. Like I teach African politics, and you know, we had a colleague that was teaching, you know, Asian history, right? And so these international certificate programs are designed to be able to for students to be able to connect broad areas across disciplines and get a more enriched kind of understanding of international affairs, which is it's a broadly defined thing.
Did the students get to travel?
Well, you know, I have to admit that COVID has put a big hurt on that. We had a lot more students traveling before COVID. And I, you know, and this is actually something about giving too, right? I mean, like, and inflation has hurt students as well, you know. So it has taken a hit.
Mm-hmm. Because do the international thing, it'd be nice to say, boy, it'd be interesting to take a tour of a number of countries in Africa or in Europe or Asia.
And, you know, we try to work closely with Oakland when we can, you know, to help coordinate things. Our Professor Johansson is taking students to Amsterdam.
He has an Amsterdam trip scheduled for this summer.
Yep.
Do you think I'd be able to go with the class?
I'm sure Ola would be glad to take you along.
I think you've got to
He may not bring
Amsterdam.
Okay, but I'm really, it's an opportunity.
You've got to ask
I can
the port
audit
of
the
call.
class.
Audit that class, yes, as well. No, it is a very valuable resource to have that kind of connects those disciplines a lot. It's one of the joys that I have working in social and teaching in social science. I think it touches everything else in a way.
It does.
That we kind of that glue that binds everything else together.
And, you know, I think, once again, to connect it to the other schools here on our campus, you know, engineering is a global thing, right? Our students are hired in companies that have global business. And so I think the more that they understand or have some understanding of the world, the better, the more competitive they're going to be, on the job market.
Yeah, just one thing it's kind of interesting. Doing alumni relations here. I've a little practice where I'll call 30, 40 alum a week, sometimes more than that. And I'll just go down a list and start calling them, and I'll see their degree. And it's kind of, not to take anything away from any of the other divisions, but when I call social sciences, or when I call natural sciences, or I call humanities, if I get a hold of an alum, it's time for a cool story. Because it's kind of like, this is what I've done as an engineer, and I'm running the world, and I'm like, hey, you have a degree in political science or something, and those stories are just cool stories. And it goes to show you the idea of alum being all over the place, that you start to relate back to where UPJ alumni have gone. But I always enjoy that, even if it's not, we talk about giving the money, but giving the time of to sit on a call with me for a half hour, whatever, to kind of relate back to where that alumni has ended up. I always enjoy those stories. So
they and our students have gone on to do all kinds of things, all across the country.
But across the world.
Across the world,
Absolutely.
I think it's great. So if you are a social science alumni, if you are a social science fan, John, I think that you're actually your economics degree would qualify you back under social science because it hadn't split. Yeah, it hadn't split yet.
Yeah.
So you could donate your $5 to social science.
I might be donating more. You don't know that.
I don't know that.
You're going to walk through me.
I'm going to walk you through that. That'll be the schedule. But all in all, you can go to that upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG, to select, go through. Social science is right there as a category, and it can donate directly to the department across the board. Anything looking good for the rest of the term for you, or that you wanted to promote before we let you have done your duty to depart division and country?
Well, as there's an election coming up, so things always get exciting.
I was going to say, as a recovering politician, are the students engaged in discussions about what's going on in Washington? Or are they fully? I know they're only between 18 and 22, so it's difficult for them to really comprehend the complexities of a national election.
I think,
and they have no clue that the more important elections are probably state and local. But
they are. No, actually, no. Yeah. Sometimes the zoning board is one of those important elections there is.
That's the point, and not to get us dragged into a political conversation because we'll be here really good. No, I always make that argument, either my classes or when I was in local government, is I'm a lot more dangerous in local government than the president is, because zoning boards, school districts have a lot more say in your life.
Let me leave you with this. There's a meme I once saw that speaks to that. The mayor in Jaws 1 is still the mayor in Jaws 2.
Chris, thank you so much for spending
thank you for having me.
Time with us today.
And if anyone has any questions, you can just always send me an email.
Campus directory, you're right on there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll be...
or you can contact Dr. Alexander, who's still here, too.
Right.
Wow. Folks, www.upj.pitt.edu, the directory's on there, and if you add a /PDOG, PDOG to that, you can get right to the donation page, and we'll be set. So we're going to cycle through here to our next guest and bring in, hopefully, I believe, Allied Health and Respiratory Care will be our next guest. But in the meantime, John, I think we're doing really well so far here. Let's take a... I'm going to knock over a couple of things, but let's take a look here at our leaderboard and
free advertising there.
Do a little bit of a reboot. And we're up to 98 donors, $16,821. We really appreciate every one of those 98 people, and that can be you too. If you haven't yet got a chance to give, please go ahead to the upj.pitt.edu/PDOG site for a chance to donate as well.
We got scrunch.
All right.
Okay.
We are doing good, making progress through Pitt Day of Giving 2024. We are very glad to welcome Allied Health and Respiratory Care back into the room. You had both been a guest on the podcast recently. Tara Penrod.
Yes. Nice to see you again.
Stacey. Both of you were fantastic on the podcast.
Well, thank you.
You were very nervous. Let's get you in there close to that. But you did great. And you get to come today and spend another 15 minutes with David and me. Have you all met John?
No.
Hi.
Hello there.
John.
And I was going to ask, what does Allied do and what's the mission of the respiratory therapy here?
Well, definitely to fill you in on
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. All right. You want to start?
Yeah, so I want to tell you a little bit about what respiratory therapist does and who we are. And we're a healthcare practitioner that is specializing in respiratory care and pulmonary medicine, so we can treat the patient therapeutically in the hospital who has pulmonary disease. RTs, we diagnose lung problems, we treat lung problems, we interview patients. We also consult with physicians, recommend treatment.
Yeah. We do rehab with them. Really, respiratory is going to deal with anything that's cardiopulmonary related in the patient's care and their health and recovery, and giving them the best quality of life as possible.
And that's a 4-year degree up here? Is that what this is?
It's a 2+2. Respiratory is 2 years for an associate's, and then they have the ability to go on for their bachelor's for at least 2 years. They can also probably finish their bachelor's in under 2 years if they schedule their classes strategically.
They do everything strategically and do it
Yes,
right.
yes, yes, and leave it up to me. I'm going to make sure that they graduate well beyond or
and
under
I would make
2
the
years.
assumption that upon graduation, there's probably a good placement, if not
100% guaranteed job placement. It's very high in demand, both respiratory and surgical tech. And with respiratory, you are going to have a very, very competitive pay wage and sign-on bonuses, guaranteed $10,000 to $15,000 right out the door.
So there we have it. And this was not here when I was back in school.
John, get on that mic for me.
But once again, we're asking for the graduates, for the alumni, to make an opportunity for people that are going to have real-life jobs, well-paying jobs, to have that opportunity to get that education sort of helped out by your $5, your $10 a month, or a direct check to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown for our Day of Giving. And it's very interesting because I see the advertisement for all the drugs they have out there for OCPD and all the other things, and I know what a nebulizer is. But, I can't think anything more disconcerting of not being able to breathe.
It's the worst feeling in the world to not be able to breathe.
We manage mechanical ventilators and artificial airways with the patient. We were instrumental
so you have
during
hands and resuscitate
right.
Yes.
Yep. We were instrumental during COVID. We were right there at the head of the patient, taking care of, because those with severe COVID actually are the ones that ended up on the ventilator.
Right.
And we were there to take care of them.
What was the term? They were incubated? What was it?
Intubated.
Intubated.
Yeah.
Incubated, yeah.
That's the babies.
Yeah.
Babies are chickens, you know, little chicks.
And our program stands out above all others, right, Tara?
It sure does. We are getting ready to celebrate 50 years. We are at 47 years right now of being here on campus.
So you were here back
1977.
Is when we started.
It was a certificate program.
Well, I graduated 78, so 77.
Okay.
77 was probably a blur for you then. That senior I
No, crystal clear, crystal clear.
That 1 year, huh?
Yeah, 1 year out of the 8, yes.
So we have a great reputation and respect in the community and beyond.
Yeah. We have a lot of graduates from Pitt in the area, in Johnstown area, that came from our program.
Do you keep a record of where they work and how
Yes,
far away
actually
they are?
we do.
Absolutely, we do.
We
The
have.
alumni board would be very interested in this.
We actually had a very good conversation, and they even potentially looking at doing a reunion.
Yes.
Be very good.
Yeah, especially for the 50-year mark, having a nice reunion come in and celebrate that year mark and have everybody come back. That would be great. They go as far out as California and down south. So across the country, all the way.
Now, I'm curious, where did you get your degrees?
No.
Well, that was going to be actually my next.
I got
John,
mine
please
right
get on
here.
that mic.
Okay.
1989, I graduated with an associate's degree in respiratory care. I came back 20 years later, decided to get my bachelor's degree. So in 2009, I was in the same classroom with the same instructor. It was like surreal.
Wow.
Yeah. And I took one class at a time, so it did take me about 5 years, but I completed that bachelor's degree in healthcare management and education in 2014.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so alum as well.
Yeah.
You are not an alum, but
I
you
am
are
not.
a key component of this program that makes it work. The Both
Yes.
of you together have just making this a great program. And
Right.
certainly, as you talked about through the period with COVID, is such a difficult time.
Yeah.
I was impressed when we talked and we did the longer interview with you both for the podcast, was the idea that how just in demand, and
Very
it
much
makes
so.
so much more sense when you think about it for more than a second. But when
Yeah.
you think of any graduate, you're always worried about job play. But yours are just right there.
We
ready
can't
to
get
go.
the
Need
students
it.
in fast enough and out into the community. We have 6 seniors this year, and what is it, already February, and 4 of them already signed contracts with local hospitals.
Before they've even graduated. And before they've even taken their board exams.
We actually have a very high passing rate as well with our boards, which is very important for a program.
Yeah, and the local hospitals and even a little bit further out that we have affiliation with, it's not 1 or 2 positions that they have open, it's multiple. I know there's a hospital down in Virginia that had like 60 positions available. And
Oh, my.
they try to steal our students all the time as much as they can. So we are definitely hurting in the field, especially in the Johnstown community. We are hurting. There is no, if you don't have a position available upon graduation, then there's a problem because they're there and you're going to make a significant amount of money.
Yeah, for 2 years or 5 terms, you can come out making decent money. The
Yeah.
big sign-on bonuses now the hospitals are offering, I'm sure they're going to continue to offer that. They're also offering local hospitals tuition assistance, so they're helping them with their tuition from UPJ. They're helping out with that.
So I take it, it's a 2-year course.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be 68. So it's 70. Would I still be eligible, or would I be like aged out?
No, you're eligible. We don't take just fresh high school graduates. We also invite any alternative learning student come in, regardless of their age or their circumstances. So yes, if you would like to become a respiratory therapist, come down and talk to me and I'll get you signed up.
And I think that's one of the things we need to bring up too. It's not just for a student graduating from high school going to
Yes.
college. This is a ongoing education for anybody that's out there, whether they just want education for the sake of education or to learn a very technical skill that's
Yes.
going to make them a very handsome salary.
Yes.
But it all helps out if the alumni out there listening to this can contribute either a check or that monthly. We're really trying to push that monthly $5, $10, $15 because it's easy, and the difference is many hands make light work, and that helps defray the cost of that education that is very, very difficult on a large portion of our society.
Again, that upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG, will get you right to the point. You can click that button, and it will load up where you can see all of our donations and find Allied Health. It's one of the donations that is listed amongst all the rest, and donate
We would appreciate it.
there as well. I think since we last spoke, David, you and I have talked several times about the excitement of being able to reconnect with the alumni that are out there from your program. And hopefully they're very...
We have quite a few alumni that are holding leadership positions in the local hospitals and beyond, some that are directors, supervisors. In the past, we've even had a program alumni that was a CEO of a hospital, local hospital here. So he's gone all the way up the ranks. But yes, we have alumni are very supportive of us. We have them on our advisory board. A lot of the hospitals where they're in charge, they donate equipment to us. They donate expired throwaway disposable equipment that the students can practice on in our lab. So very supportive of our program.
I think it's just a wonderful thing to see and hear about, and now having gone through it a couple times, it is kind of one of those things that I don't know if was certainly one, maybe not in my forethought, but it is now, and I'm glad that you both had a chance to come and talk about your program. Any final plea for folks out there that to give us your money or help us out?
Enrollment is open. We can definitely use the financial backing of any of the alumni that are willing to do so. There's a lot of things that we would like to update in our laboratory and for our classroom. So if any money goes directly to the Allied Health program, it would be greatly appreciated.
If they want to find more about the program itself, where can we send them?
You can go on to the Pitt website, and under the Nursing and Allied Health section, there is a respiratory tab as well as a surgical tech tab that you can read more about each program that we offer in our department.
Fantastic.
We're at 111 Biddle Hall, and we also are on social media. We have Facebook page, Instagram, and LinkedIn. It's Pitt-Johnstown Respiratory Care Program. Check us out.
And to all those out there that
John,
are
it helps if you're into the mic.
I know,
my friend.
it helps if you're talking to the microphone. And for all those that are inclined to support, remember, the checks or your monthly goes to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. We love Oakland. We're part of that family. But for every one of us that signs up today, we get a little button up here pushed in Oakland, and the more people we get, the more support we get from Oakland to the local university here. So it's important that you support the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, because a lot of times, like I said, we love the chancellor, but they send everybody to Pitt, and it's here that we really want to take care of our own and opportunities for another generation.
John and I get to be very partisan as alumni of UPJ to be able to proudly bang the drum for UPJ. Thank you both for spending
You're
your
very
15
welcome.
minutes with us.
Thank you.
And hopefully you have a successful rest of your term, and I look forward to we could start planning your reunion.
Yes, I'm sure we'll be back again.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
folks.
you.
Let's go
Thank
take
you.
about 2 or 3 minutes here, and then we'll be back with our next round of academic divisions.
Time to quit smoking.
Welcome back to Pitt Day of Giving live stream 2024. I want to remind people, if you're watching live, and apparently we were just told that the entire respiratory care class is sitting in watching the live stream in their classroom. So good on them. Hello, folks.
Give.
Donate $5. That's it. We need your help. upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. We are shuffling things around, but I'm really excited to welcome my other home division as I get to work, Deb Zakreski. Thank you so much for coming and representing the department here. We want you to get you into that. I'm sorry, you got to get into that mic a little bit so we can hear you.
Sure,
but
it's nice
you
to be here.
are business and enterprise, accounting. Know many of the people that I get to know and work with, not just locally, but I'm thinking of folks over
Right.
at Denny Kotzon's place, like Kim and Sarah and all those.
She was one of my students.
Yes, they're watching, I think,
And,
now.
She
Donate.
Yeah, but she actually did. Her name is on the list already.
Oh, yeah,
Like
we
I
made
looked.
sure. Yeah, we were.
Yeah, and Jason Pierce, who works there,
Yes.
also. He's Jason was one of my students, and I looked before I came here,
So
so
we're
they were
name shaming
listed.
people by putting their names up there.
No, am I allowed to do that?
No,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
we-
name
I'm
check.
not
It's,
on your
it's
mic.
celebrating their donation.
Yeah, exactly.
Taking
But I mean, no,
roll.
Kim has
Taking
been very
roll.
supportive of our program. I mean, ever since she graduated and came back to she went to one of the largest, CPA firms in the country, and then she came back to Johnstown, and ever since she came back, she's been very supportive of our program, has a number of our students in internships, and then hires them afterwards, and her and her firm has just been just overwhelmingly supportive. But just not, her CPA firm, a lot of the CPA firms in the area, they're really very supportive of our program. We have an award after Mr. and Mrs. Solly, there's, and Wessel and Company, and, I can't think of that, Cat and Niece Group, there's a lot of them. They're very supportive. A lot of our students are out there doing internships.
And my CPA is a UPJ graduate, too.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
good.
we can- But
Did he
I don't-
donate?
What's that?
Did he donate?
I don't know.
We'll call him.
He should. For what I pay him, no. For business and enterprises, what all was in that division? Obviously, business, accounting, statistics.
Okay, well,
economics.
we have marketing, management, information systems, finance, accounting, and economics.
Okay.
So there's a quite of array of options for our students to get different majors. A lot of our students are double majoring because they realize that just one major, like knowing accounting is good, but knowing something about finance and economics
Right.
will help them in their career choices, things like that. So they've recognized that they, for the most part, a lot of them do either double major or, they just might take a couple classes in another, discipline just to even put on their resume that they've taken 6 classes in upper level management or things like
Right,
that.
we also had majored, minored, and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
I graduated with economics. What they call it, the dismal science?
No,
Or
I
something
don't
like that. But
Well,
so
before it
for all
used
these
to be-
people in marketing, and it's all about branding, and what we're trying to do is we're branding UPJ. So we're asking you a direct check, $5, $10, $20 on a monthly stipend that would be less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks to help students, an opportunity to help them get an education and to be successful and to keep UPJ alive. And as we said before, it's a two-way street. We want you to get engaged. We want you to come back, visit this campus to see what it's become, particularly those that of my generation, that you can see the huge difference from the 1970s to where this campus is today. So please, it's the Pitt Day of Giving. Make sure it's given to UPJ if you're so inclined, because and it doesn't have to be a lot, even $5, because every person we get a good mark from Oakland, which helps us with our finances from main campus also.
Okay, yeah. I know there's even a number, of faculty members that do what you're saying. They take it out of their paycheck. They give monthly, because they believe in the institution. And even, it doesn't just help the students. It helps the faculty too, because it helps us go, like for professional development, going to conferences, keeping in touch with our colleagues, knowing that, we're keeping all of our classes up to where they should be, to the level that they should be. So it does help, and then that helps our students because then we're going out and we're finding that information, we're drawing it back in, and then we're applying it in the classroom. So, it's like you said, it's a two-way street. Our ability to help the faculty, then help the students, it really is just one big package. So, yep. And actually, in the business department, one of our faculty members, Stacy Roberts, is putting together a business forum on March 19th.
Yeah.
And that's going to be at the Murtha Center at 6 o'clock, where she's inviting a number of alumni back. And what they do is they talk to the students, tell them about, this is what I did, and maybe you should do this maybe differently, or, they just, they're there to give them advice, to give them a little bit of encouragement, to say, you can do this. This is, it's a tough road that you're in right now, 4 years, but you can do it. And, usually in the business forum, they have students that have maybe graduated 1 or 2 years ago, and then, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So you sort of get a mix, of what their experiences are so that they can give those to the students. So she's working really hard on that. So we're hoping that, alumni can come back and they can be part of that evening and then maybe volunteer for next year, stuff like that. So yeah, her and her business, it's the business club, I believe, that puts that together.
Yeah.
So that's going to be March 19th.
They're the ones who had asked us for
Yes,
support.
yes.
Yes, and we're actually
And
going
it's interesting.
I'm gonna write him a
An
check out of
accountant,
the company
CPA,
account.
I understand that. You go to an accounting firm and you get a job there. But if you want to be a business person, that's unique. And entrepreneurial skills is something that you have to hear from somebody that's been through it. Is how do you even do it? Just to get through the labyrinth, just to start a business.
Oh,
has
yeah,
to be
it's a process.
daunting.
Yeah. It's not just having the idea. It's trying to get the idea out there and developed so that you can put it out there, So it's a process. And we do have an entrepreneurial lab that Skip Glenn is in charge of, and he has a series of classes that the students take. And, he brings professionals in to help the students with that as well. So, yeah, we're really trying to, as you said, get the students, say EPJ real world ready, but it is true, you
Right.
have to teach them, life skills. Actually, one of our faculty members, Christina DiDiana, she's starting a class. I'm trying to reach this over here. Okay, and it's called Personal Financial Planning, and it's going to be offered as a gen ed. Okay. And it's going to be offered, well, it's been offered for years.
What's a gen
But
ed?
general education
Okay,
credit.
okay.
Okay, sorry. And, but anyway, it's being offered so that anybody here at the university can take it. Doesn't matter what your major is, but it's going to apply to one of your general education credits, which all students have to have. But what she's trying to do is to encourage students to start thinking about those financial issues that right now maybe their parents are taking care of, but once they graduate, they have to take care of it.
That's a great idea.
So she's doing that, and that's going to be in the fall. And again, so like I said, faculty development, student development, any kind of, donation can help, her develop that class even more, bring in, and I know she's interested in bringing alumni back, to come and talk about the different topics that she's going to have in that class. So
There's been some great things in being able to be part of the division and work with you and with Dr. Whistler as far as our chair.
yes,
and
we have
stuff.
a new chair, Dr. Timothy Whistler.
The
Yes.
things that are going on there has been really exciting. I actually talked to him. He's going to audit my course in the fall, get some technical experience. But it's this kind of thing I think is really special and neat for all students across the campus. And to be able to have those type of resources, to go to the webpage, I'm going to throw out the upj.pitt.edu/PDOG again, as well as to provide that to every student as an option for them goes a long, long way.
I think so. Yeah, we're really thankful for Christina for doing that because there is a need. Like I said, you go from 18 to 22, and your parents are pretty much taking care of you, and But once they graduate, they might have that student loan that they have to repay. And, then they got to get a car and they have to get insurance for the car. And, where does all that, come together? How do you put it all together? Make your own business plan. You should have a personal, financial plan. And the sooner you start it, the better, and even when you graduate or you're going for those job interviews, what does all this mean that they're talking about? 401ks and HSAs and FSA, what are they talking about? Well, that kind of information can be, communicated to them so that, they're informed when they're out there.
That's a great idea, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of young people starting out there. They don't have a clue about finance or how money works, or even the simplest things. Well, I don't even know if people have checkbooks anymore, but get my drift.
They do, but they don't use them.
Yeah.
They give them to them, but they don't use them.
And we're here for the Pitt Day Giving, so for all you old-timers out here, and since this division has economics and business in there, if you remember Al Frankfurt, Stanley Long, Mike Yates,
Clark Strausser.
I thanked him for passing me, so I could graduate.
I did too, oddly enough.
Doc Weigel.
He was tough, but he was fair.
Doc Weigel, and Philanderer, but I never really had her, so I'd never had her for class.
Oh, Dr. Philanderer.
Yeah, I'd never had her.
Okay.
So, Mike Yates was our socialist economics professor, yes. Yeah. But, so if any of the old timers that had any of those people, just for the stories, it's worth $5 or $10 a month. So please, if you can, any help, greatly appreciated, so we can put another generation through this university system so they have the opportunity to get an education, expand their mind, get a good career, and enjoy family.
I think it's amazing from when we talk about business and enterprise how it is so that a student can go through their day and they're in a class with you talking about these core accounting principles. They pop over here and they're doing figuring out how to build databases and try to understand that technology with me. Then 2 hours after lunch, they're out in the courtyard with Skip, flying drones, all in the same day from the same division. It is really, really exciting.
Yeah. And, the other thing, when you were mentioning all those faculty members, that's one unique thing about UPJ is that our faculty seem to stay here. They develop, that core knowledge and, and they love to just give that information to the students. But I think that's one of the really good things about UPJ is that we have faculty that stay, that they're dedicated.
And you had one-on-one with the faculty. There was never a problem where you have to wait for 4 weeks to have a 15-minute conversation.
And so I think that's very unique of UPJ. And I think the students recognize that, and I know the alumni will. And say, yeah, you know what? And actually, that's one of the reasons why I kept my maiden name on my door, because I've had just the other week, I had a student come by and say, that's her. Yeah, she's still here. And but if I wouldn't have had my maiden name on the door, they wouldn't have known me. They would have just said, well, okay, I don't know her, And I can't tell you how many students will say, oh yeah, that's really cool, and you strike up actually. In the last couple weeks, I've had several students who I had as students, and now their children are my students. That's how long I've been here, but that's exciting
good. We like
too.
the legacy students too.
Yeah,
that's
exactly. Wonderful. So there is that continuum here at UPJ.
Fantastic. Thank you for taking the time to come and spend 15 minutes with us. On a personal note, thank you for volunteering at our division meeting on Friday because it was looking pretty. Pretty shy group.
Well, I'm done with my classes for the day, so it wasn't a hard problem. So
again, thank you. Oh, real quick, the date again for the event for the business forum.
Yeah, that's March 19th at 6 p.m. at the Murtha Center.
Great, and they can probably reach out to Stacy if they have questions.
Yeah, Stacy Roberts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
Well, folks, we got at least 1 hour left here, or give or take about on that for the live stream. Just doing a quick check. We are at 102 donors out of our goal of 188. So that means we need you. We need your help. We need to keep pushing on, and as we make this day a great day for UPJ and for everything that means for our students, our faculty, and everyone involved. I want to welcome now Lisa Belencella, chemistry.
Yes.
Natural science representative here for Pitt Day of Giving.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
What's going on? Let me get you a little closer there into the mic. What's going on over in natural sciences?
Oh, well, I can tell you all about chemistry.
That works.
We are doing some very cool things in chemistry. One of our goals for Pitt Day of Giving is to maintain a fund that we can use to increase our instrumentation. And we've been working hard at that over the last 6-8 years, and we have purchased 2 new FTIR spectrophotometers. We replaced an old GC mass spec with a new one, and most recently we got a new HPLC. Now, all of those are important instruments that are used to characterize molecules in various different ways. Our alumni would know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, because I could see the question coming here.
John's wondering about those.
What?
Yes. What do these
I know,
do?
NaCl. Yeah.
So spectrum refers to the electromagnetic spectrum,
Sure.
light. And a spectrophotometer, a spectrophotometer. So it's measuring the spectrum, and it's measuring the energy in one form or another from the molecules. And each of the different techniques gives us a different piece of information. So it's like generating pieces of a puzzle, and you put the pieces together, and then you know what the molecule looks like.
And I just read, and I forget who the scientist was, who discovered infrared. He was trying to see if there's different colors with a thermometer, if blue, purple, red, yellow, orange had a different color out of prism. And what he was finding is over here where he couldn't see a color, the thermometer went.
Yep.
And so he did some other tests with standard basic line, whatever term we use. And he said, there's something here, so we called it infrared.
Right.
So I was right. I forget who the scientist was.
That's
though, but-
okay.
I see.
I see, David. This is why we bring John along with our adventures.
So if there's any students of natural science out there, they need the FTR, they need the magnetometer and all those other things.
Oh,
whatever they're
yeah.
called.
And
So your $5, your $10, or your direct check goes to help out this department. And I mean, you can't get much more scientists than the natural sciences. No messing around with this stuff. It either is or it isn't. So if you graduate from that division, a little help goes a long way of giving new students opportunities to make careers for themselves.
And if they want to give specifically, if they're chemistry alumni and they want to give specifically, we've got a chemistry department fund. And we always like donations to the chemistry department fund, but giving to the division is a great way to spread the wealth among the other departments who also, I mean, in the sciences, we have to use instrumentation to characterize what we're looking at.
So when we talk about the natural sciences, we're talking about, obviously, chemistry.
I just brought up the degree program. Biochemistry, chemistry, mathematics, psychology, biology, energy and earth resources, which is the geology.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
mathematics.
physics.
Yes.
Okay.
And biochemistry is in the chemistry department.
Yeah. Those are the
And-
degrees that you can major
That
in.
is correct.
And I remember,
We're 3 hours into this. You just now turning off your cell phone?
look, it's Bernie Martin. That's an inside joke, there, folks. And I remember endoplasmic reticulum in my biology.
Very
case,
good.
And something to do with the Golgi bodies, but we'll leave it at that.
So we've talked about it. The donation goes to these things. You are not able to provide education to these students without material like this.
Absolutely. These instruments prepare them for the real world. They have to use this regardless of what they do when they graduate and go out and get jobs. They need training on this instrumentation, and they need modern instrumentation, not something that was designed even 30 years ago. The technology has changed, and what the various different industrial and research labs have is cutting edge, and we need to be training our students on the cutting edge technology.
Gotcha. So they're looking for, it's nice to have hand-me-downs, but you need new technology because when they go into the workforce, that's what they're looking at. That's what that business has. They're going to say, well, you don't know how to run this thing. There's somebody that went to some other place and they know how.
Yeah.
We've been kind of hitting on the points and stuff with various different divisions about their upcoming reunions. Natural Sciences already had a very successful reunion. I remember you were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Back in October.
I think they went very well.
Yep.
I'm a little biased, but it seemed like the alumni were very helpful and supportive, and hopefully we see that again from them today.
Yes, it was really neat to see. I mean, some of them graduated just a few years ago, but some of them had graduated much longer ago, and it was really nice to see them. And we had former faculty who've retired, and it was really great to see them as well.
Dr. Bryce, I spent some time talking with Dr.
Bryce was there.
Dr.
Yes.
Sigmund was there as well.
Yep.
It was a nice turnout that those events. The natural science includes a lot of really great programs and a lot of great people as well. The idea about the equipment is an amazing one. I know Dr. Kerrigan was in Portugal for sabbat and did research.
Yep.
Last term.
He's taking the geology club to Portugal for their spring break trip this year.
Oh wow! I had not heard that one yet.
I wonder if I can audit that class.
That would be Jim. Jim is auditing that one, so I don't think he's going to Portugal. We have a member of our alumni board who's auditing Dr. Kerrigan's classes. Yes. Again, we want to encourage everybody to get out there to the Pitt Day Giving page. You go to upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, and you can click that right there. Find the Chemistry Fund. Find Natural Sciences. You can direct your donation as little as $5, as much as
whatever
you are comfortable donating to help make sure that equipment is state-of-the-art, that everything is there that they need to make sure we are preparing those students for jobs out in the career, in the world.
Is physics under your division?
Yes, it is.
Under your GS?
Yes.
Then if any of you ever had Dave Willey, $5 a month, $10 a month, simply because you had Dave Willey, because he was a wonderful guy, and I golf with him now. So
and he walks on hot coals.
And I walked on hot coals because he said I couldn't. He explained the physics behind it. But once again, thank you so much for coming out. And first right out there, we need money for this. So, I mean, it wasn't some nebulous thing out there. It's like we need it for an FRT and
Right now, we're going for a microwave.
a microwave.
Yes.
Well, you can get those at Walmart.
I knew
No,
when you
not
said it.
really. No, not really. And I'm glad you asked because now you. Yes and no. You really can't use a microwave that's designed for food to do this. It needs to be insulated differently because temperatures are going to be different. But the whole idea behind doing a chemical reaction in a microwave is very similar to cooking in it. It takes less time. So reactions that might take 3, 4, 5 hours or need to go overnight can happen in just a few minutes, which allows us to then prepare the compounds and characterize them and get more done in a 4-hour lab period.
That's great.
And that ties in with our whole green chemistry initiative.
And that's why, folks, you need to help the natural sciences out with your $5, your $10, your $15 a monthly. Or we'll take a direct check or a bequeathment.
But for Pitt Day Giving, go to the webpage. But if you have any of those other things, we are glad to help you as well. And David will gladly take you and have you write the university into your will.
Absolutely. A couple of points, I think, taken away from this. So we want to point number one, keep John away from the microwave.
They're going on 4 hours here. This is tough.
But it's, some of the other points I think that are real important to kind of recap is that, you make the point that, whether it's Pitt Day Giving or whether it's throughout the year, you can pick what made a difference to you. If it's chemistry, if it's geology, if it's physics, it doesn't have to go to that, general purposes. And when you see that happen, I think you're right. You start to see how that made a difference. One of the things I want to kind of cap off also about the when we did the reunion, and we had about 60 alum come back, which was, we talked earlier about, you're selling those memories. If you're happy, you're healthier. I mean, there was a lot of happy people, even though the weather wasn't as what we'd wanted it to be. But we saw people come back. The interesting thing, if you're an alum out there, and you're not sure, haven't been back in a while. At that reunion, we specifically did tours of the department because we wanted alum to come back, go through those tours, and say, what's that? That's our microwave. That could be updated. That could be upgraded. My point being that at any time, if you're an alum out there and you're not receiving, regular correspondence from us, but you're seeing it today, seeing us here today in a live stream, contact me. We'd love to have you come back in. We can come in on a Saturday. We can give you the tour. We can spend some time here. Either give me a call at 814-269-2081 or DGJ7 at Pitt.edu, because that's that connection. I mean, it was really, we've actually made a couple of connections from that reunion, which we said, from the podium that day, reunions can't be just once a year. We want to keep those alum active. We want to keep them coming back. We talked about it earlier in the last segment. Money is important, so is time. If you're someone out there who's a chemist or who's a geologist, and you can come back and give time to a student or be a mentor, again, through alumni relations, we'd love to see that. If there's chemists or geologists or any alum out there that have written books, we'd love to see a program where we can get those books in our bookstore and also in our library to say, wow, that point, like here's somebody who came through the same hallways I came through, the same classes I took, and have made it beyond the mountain here that Pitt-Johnstown sits on. So use the Alumni Association, the Institutional Advancement Department as a resource, so that we can use those resources to help graduate chemists and geologists and physicists and I don't know what else I might have missed out of that department, but
You're gonna plug mathematicians.
Mathematicians, sure.
Yes. I wanted to add something.
Please do.
Well, this past fall, we initiated a seminar program where we invited alumni back. And some, especially those who have family in the area, actually came back to Johnstown. It was a good excuse to come visit the family. But we also had alumni come to see us over Zoom. And so we had the alumni came and presented to our current students, not about their research or about what they're doing at their job, but advice. There were some really cool ones about how they went on their journey, but more than one alum told about how Plan A didn't work and how they turned a bad situation into a good one. And those were really encouraging stories. So we invite you to come back and give presentations. Chemistry is going to be running this again. Even if you weren't a chemistry graduate, but you took courses in our department, we'd love to hear from you as well, because you have a story to tell also. And so those stories help build our program.
That'd be great if you could, keep us in the loop. We'll gladly help promote that from the alumni side as well. That's one of the things that we working with David and we like to do. Lisa, thank you so much for coming and volunteering to talk about this and educating John and I on chemistry. Something that
it's always fun to do that.
Great, Lisa Bellincella, chemistry. Thank you so much for coming on Pitt Day 2024.
It was good to be here. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, you bet.
Remember, folks, upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG. Let's take a quick peek and see where we're at on the leaderboards, where we're going here. Gonna do a reload. We are sitting at 105 people, 105. That puts us within striking distance of that 188 number for our goal, but we got a ways to go. So we need you out there. We need you donating. Donate. Get your family to donate. Get your neighbors to donate. Go door to door. We appreciate it. As we continue here on Pitt Day Giving 2024, we are glad to welcome. Hey, get you situated there, and just into the.
I can't believe it took this long.
Okay. We're reaching 3.5 hours, and I can see that John has reached that point already. Dr. Michael Stoneham, welcome.
Yeah, sure. Glad to be here.
Representing as chair of the Humanities Division.
Sure am. Well, I'm glad to be here and glad to talk about the Humanities program at UPJ.
We kind of start each of these divisions the same way. What's going on in Humanities?
Well, there's a lot, as a matter of fact. Tonight is our Golgonooza, and Golgonooza is our annual theatrical production of a student-written, student-directed, and student-acted play. This is a 2-night performance tonight and on the 1st, and the theater department has been working on that for the last couple of weeks, as well as preparing for the main spring show, which is going to be The Winter's Tale by Shakespeare. And a not oft performed play, but an interesting one nonetheless.
Actually, I have a student who's performing in it in one of my classes, and I keep getting the reminder, you're coming, right? So
yeah.
I have a feeling Shakespeare's in my future.
Is this at the Pascagoula Performing Arts Center? Is that where they're having it?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
It's in the black box over at the...
Oh, it's just in the black box, okay.
Humanities. What does humanities encompass for those who may not be familiar with the division as a whole, but saying, hey, I want to donate to something, and I'm looking for somebody to pitch me
right.
why I should give them my money.
All right. Well, I'll tell you about the humanities. We have 10 major programs, and by a major program, what I mean is those are majors, distinct majors that we offer to students. They range from communication and English literature and writing in both the professional and creative stream, to theater and digital humanities, to several others. And there's a couple of hybrids in there, some having to do with philosophy and literature, some with foreign language and literature. And at UPJ, we teach both Spanish and French, and welcome any students who have an interest in exploring the different cultures represented by those languages. We also actually feature some semester abroad trips. As a matter of fact, Dr. Barbara Petrosky, who teaches in the French department or the foreign language department with her husband, is sponsoring a trip to Paris this year. Pitt in Paris. That's a month-long program in which students earn 6 credits, live in Paris the entire time, and explore the city's cultural sites. I interrupted myself, though. I got excited a little bit. And we do offer it at 7 minors. And the minors come both from programs that offer majors like writing and literature and communication, but they also come from programs that don't have majors like music and art history. And I'm trying to keep them at the tip of my tongue, but that escapes me now and again.
Go ahead, keep working. I can pull them up for you. Potentially.
There we go.
This is the looking things up part of the minors: art history, philosophy, communications, writing, music, French or Spanish, and English literature.
Right, and I'm surprised that I forgot philosophy there momentarily, because that underpins all of our majors.
Yes, and I remember my first philosophy class was a very large class. It was probably part of distribution or whatever they called, so everybody had to take it. But it's interesting is I always looked at the university as you walk into a large room with a lot of doors on it. And when you leave it, you've just stepped into those doors, but you unlocked them. There's inside that door is a whole lot of other doors too, and you can delve deeper and deeper. But that's what our liberal arts university is supposed to do, is give you a little touch about everything to make you a more enlightened human being. So if there's anybody's out there, and I've been doing this with everybody, whatever their division is, and you're in the humanities division, and if you're in a band, because I was in music, so $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month, or just a direct check to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. Even the smallest amount gets a check mark in Oakland that helps us out with our finances from the main campus too. So even if you want to try to check out for $50, it helps us out tremendously because we're trying to get it to 188 people. I was book voice with Dr. Furlong many years ago on how to succeed in business with that, because I was dating a girl at the time there, and she was in theater, and that's how I got to be book voice. That's all about my theatrics came.
Well, John, I'm glad you brought up the music program and our general education contributions. The humanities probably offers about 250 classes in our general education program, and those range in classes in all of the disciplines that I've previously mentioned. And we do offer students with an interest in music the opportunity to sing in choir, to perform in jazz ensemble, or to perform in jazz band, right? This is complemented, of course, by the students who take a theater classes or want to major in theater, or those that want to major in engineering and have an interest in theater. So our students that both prepare our sets, to direct our plays, that act in our plays, come from all different disciplines, all right? And they're members of Pitt's theater group, formerly called Pitt Players, and they're theater majors as well. So it gives students a great opportunity to sort of capitalize on the broad education they're able to get, that liberal arts background that you talked about, and an opportunity to pursue their own particular interest in acting, because I always tell students we are eclectic human beings. We have many, many interests, and we ought not study only the classes in our major, but to branch out and pursue our many interests.
Absolutely.
I never felt the need to act. I'm pretty decent at being a character throughout my life as it exists. But I always did scenes and tech work and stuff, electric work, lighting and stuff in theater, because it was, hey, that's a cool way to bring my skill set into something that you wouldn't typically ever think. But that was a humanities basis of something that built skills and friendships and relationships that exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Many of our students do work with some of the professional experts that are engaged by the theater to learn about lighting, about sound, about stagecraft, about production. And I think they learn a lot in the process, whether they're going to be going on to a profession in the theater or whether they're going to go on to an engineering job or a job in a bank or a job writing or any kind of profession. We certainly see in the community many opportunities to pursue those interests that students start or continue while at UPJ.
And every year I get to see that at the Pasco Performing Arts Center when I do the Johnstown Ballet's Nutcracker. You see the people behind the scenes making all of this happen because there's a science behind stagecraftery or whatever term you want to use. So everything fits into something else. And it's fascinating, and particularly the arts, because it's the softer science, but it's the human part of us that really is important out there.
Sure, and I'll tell you about one of our what I call our margin of excellence programs that we're trying to develop, but that really depends on the generosity of donors, and that's a program that's sponsored by our Sigma Tau Delta, or English Honor Society. And what we're trying to do in the fall is take students to Concord, Massachusetts, and to Boston to see the sort of, to visit the sort of hub of 19th century intellect in Concord, and visit Thoreau's home, Emerson's home, Alcott's home, Hawthorne's home, and of course the old manse, which is right at the edge of these marvelous historical sites that National Park manages, in Concord, where the first shot of the Revolutionary War occurred.
Yeah.
So that depends on generosity of donors doing stuff like that, or capitalizing on classroom experience and bringing students outside of the classroom to places like, I actually took students a couple of years ago down to our own JWF in Johnstown, because I wanted students to really think about how humans integrated with machines to produce these, complex systems, right? And how we had this symbiotic and yet tense relationship sometimes with the machines that we see in digital humanities that are evolving, particularly regarding AI. We have many professors that are interested in doing stuff like that, but that depends on external funds. We don't have the annual sort of internal budget to allow professors to take students out on those kinds of educational trips, but we certainly like to.
And that's where, going to that upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG will get you to the link. You can click and go directly to the donation page for UPJ, so you can direct that fund, your funds that you say, I want to give this $5, this $8, this $12, the $20, $100, whatever it is, and say, yes, I want it to go to humanities. I want to help those students get to that trip and do those sorts of things. It is certainly something that we see that touches on so many components, and the JWF story is just a great example of that there is such a human component of so many things that we don't necessarily always think about, but is always present.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see some of that human component, particularly down at the PPAC when we're able to put on a musical performance, when we're able to put on a theatrical performance, and we see all kinds of members of the community attend. What I really have been encouraging John Teacher and Jeff Webb and some of our other performative professors of the performative arts, I would really like to get our high school students into those productions. I think they'll see what kind of excellent facilities we have. I think they'll see what kind of opportunities there are to explore at UPJ, and they'll see what kind of growth as both a student and as a member of the community they can achieve by engaging in these kinds of events, which build confidence and exercise their poise and exercise their memory and bring them in front of a public, interacting with that public in a sort of dynamic way, something they'll do for the rest of their life in whatever profession they enter.
And you talk about acting, because you were talking about the humanities and the Performing Arts Center, and every time I think about it, I've been to New York, I've been to Pittsburgh, but I watch TV all the time. So it's not just the stars. There's tens of thousands of people that make their careers in the theater, so to speak, either behind the camera or in front of that camera. So there's opportunity out there. And I just thought of this a little bit before I go and ask everybody for their $5 or the $10 or their direct check, is that as we're sitting here today on the 27th of February 2024, maybe not the technology, but there were people doing the very same thing while you were going to school, asking people to help out, to help defray the cost of your education. So if you can see your way clear and you're so inclined, a little help to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnson. As I said before, every little amount helps, and your name on that scribe gets a little black mark in the good way in Oakland that helps the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown. So if you can cut a check, if you can make a monthly stipend, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, John, I'm glad you brought that up. Many of our students depend on the generosity of alumni, community members, certainly their parents and grandparents, but we can really offset some of the cost for attendance at the university by encouraging donations to scholarship funds, to awards. It makes a huge difference in a student's life if a student is able to earn a scholarship to defray some of the expense of tuition or room and board or books. I mean, I have students every day who are looking at me and asking, do I really have to buy the book for your class? And I say, of course you have to buy the book. I mean, this is essential in your preparation. But I want to enable them further, if possible, by encourage everyone to donate to this kind of worthy cause. We're investing in our own future, and we're certainly investing in our students' futures.
Very good. I think it's important to see that is so needed. And John, your point about that being that, and it's a great point, and I wish we could have come up with it 3 hours ago. The idea of there were people doing, they weren't live streaming on the internet this way, but they were at tables, they were on the radio at WUPJ Radio, they were knocking on doors, and that got folks like us through here. And now it's our time to give back.
Before I lose my thought, and I know a lot of people say, well, I made my way through the university system back when. Well, I always called it education inflation, and the cost of education has way outpaced inflation over the past 40 years. Doc, you just brought up a book. I would venture to say one of the substantial books that you buy in this bookstore costs as much today as an entire term cost me back in 1974. So keep that in perspective. I know you make a few dollars more an hour than you did back then, but the cost of education is really out there. Anything we can help, particularly the middle class and the people that really need it the most, the lower middle class, the poor, and the middle class, anything we can do to defray that cost. And I like the term earned. And I don't think we want to have a free lunch for anybody, but you sit there and you make a commitment out there, you X amount of 3.0, 2.5, 4.0, sliding scale, but somewhere. But anything you can do, help to defray the cost, because what we're trying to do is get another generation of intelligent, committed people into our various divisions that we have up here at the university. But we really want to push the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown because of the experience that you had. And I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't have a good experience in my university. And
I think it's across the board for all of us.
Yeah.
Sure.
Michael Stoneham, thank you for coming and spending 15 minutes with us.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Again, what's the date on the play?
Pardon me?
What's the date on Shakespeare?
Shakespeare.
So we can, while we have people, we can plug it?
We are performing Shakespeare, The Winter's Tale, from the 4th to the 6th of April.
Very good.
All right. Right at the P-PAC in the Black Box.
Great. Good to see you.
Good to see
we'll
you
have
all.
to get golfing this summer.
Yeah, great.
Well, folks, again, we're closing in here to the towards the afternoon part of Pitt Data Giving, but we have 10 more hours, not on the live stream, don't worry, John, but 10 more hours to the end of the day to make your donation, but don't let it go too long, because you always will get busy with something you won't remember, but we need your help now. www.upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG, will go and help you succeed. Help us succeed. Help you donate to the area of your choice. If you've heard anything here today, you can find on that page exactly where you want it to go, including the Education Division.
Okay.
Bethany McConnell.
Hello.
Nice to meet you in person. I know, I
Yes.
think we've done email,
Plenty
but
of
nice to
email,
meet you in person.
certainly.
And coming to volunteer, let's get you a little close there to the mic, for education.
Absolutely, yes.
SOP, that we've now done this routine a couple
yeah,
times.
we've got this down now.
What's going on in education?
I would say last but not least, we are very excited about the expansion of our education program that we've seen within the past 5 years. We have a dual cert program that I can speak highly of, dual certification, meaning our teachers are trained in pre-K through 12th grade in special education and with that elementary education. We also have the middle level certification in across the content areas, secondary education. We have an endorsement in ESL. We also recently have a STEM endorsement in which our students can add on to their already existing certification.
That's very detailed, and that goes a long way to show that the depth of the vision across the board.
Absolutely. We followed the trends in terms of the needs of our local community. We work closely with the school districts. I've just been through emails today working to get high school students to come on our campus, to get interested future educators coming onto our campus and falling in love, as the theme that I've listened to throughout the day, falling in love with our campus and just the great niche that we have here in the Laurel Highlands. So
I think that's always one of the interesting things about education, that my understanding of it from being on campus and then having family in the division, but the connection back to the local schools and how that works with student teaching and so forth. We had an alum who I was talking to the other day, because she lives with me, who went to an audit report at a school district and was full of UPJ students from Dr. Letney's class, to get them to see, what is this like? What does it involve? That is probably a very unique, that's one of the real unique parts of education, is your students touch those schools almost immediately, or pretty close.
Absolutely. We have our students going into the school sometimes as early as their first year.
we feel it's important that they know what they're doing for the rest of their lives. And my colleagues that have spoken before me, you can go into the humanities, you can go into business, and you can end up in a plethora of experiences, but more than likely in education in some way, shape, or form, you're going to be in the school. So we really, in terms of cost, I know as an advisor, I prioritize that the students know what they want to do. And piggybacking off that example of collaboration, we owe it to the schools to give back to them, to see what their needs are, to work with administrators, school counselors. We have our students working directly with these mentor teachers for up to a month at a time. Our student teachers, our dual cert students, are in the schools for a year working in their future profession. So they definitely spend a lot of time working in the local schools, which we thrive on.
All right, thanks, Bethany. So since I'm the pitch man, we're asking for a check. It's University of Pitt's Day of Giving. More importantly, it's the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown's Day of Giving. So a check, $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month on an ongoing scale helps a lot of people out. So this is, and I used this word earlier today, and you're amazed, you're the pedagogues out there, to you teachers. You know what it's all about. So if you can help out with $5 a month, $10 a month, or a check, to the education division, it'll help another generation to get educated right here at the UPJ campus so that they can stand in your shoes and be the future teachers of another generation of people. Because we all realize, and we all have memories, we still, well, maybe my memory fails me now, but we had good teachers and bad teachers. I remember who my English teacher was, my math teachers, etc. And we all go through kindergarten to high school. Whether you like it or not, you're going to go there. But it's important to have motivated teachers. And I remember when I went back to school in the late 70s, the world's changed a lot. A lot of the girls, a lot of the women were in education. I think it's much more diversified now than it used to be, but it's still challenging as a career because you're still, working in the state, knowing about the budgets and everything and finances. A lot of people choose not to go in education now because it used to be they taught. Now they have to be everything from the psychologist to the mom and dad, not just the teacher.
Having that technology in the classroom, absolutely.
So if there's
Cover a lot of
anything you can
ground.
do out there to help Bethany out, she's going to greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. And just to build on that, talking about our students' experiences, they're not paid internships. So our students are going into the classroom 5 days a week, and then they're working 2 and 3 jobs. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I'd really admire the effort of the students that we get because of their work ethic and the passion that they have for teaching. We know we're not going into it for the big bucks, but truly the passion they have to fuel the future. And to do that, they have to work jobs in addition to. So scholarships mean a lot for our students.
And it was tough because I remember back in the day that I don't know if they were substitute teaching or internships, but they literally had to put the lesson plans together. So along with their curriculum, they're doing all this stuff too. Right. I mean, it was rather intensive to be a teacher, to graduate with a degree and get a job.
And that 3.0 GPA.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So if you want to help support, and I just want to throw the webpage, make sure it's at the bottom of the screen there, but upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG. Support goes a long way because of those things, of course. The education program has been one of those anchor institutions here at UPJ for as long as I remember. John, it was here when it was one of the original 5.
Yeah.
It's one part of the reunion cycle that is coming up at some point as well.
Right. I think it's important. We talk about teachers. I think it's a bigger cycle that I see in alumni. The teachers, for many of our alumni, isn't where they stopped. They became principals. They became administrators. I'm also impressed always when I look through a lot of our alumni. I see the word superintendent after the name, which they started here with that education. So I think it's, we talk a lot about teachers, but we also talk about, I think it's important to note that many of our graduates have gone on to become some very well-noted superintendents or administrators. So And it started here. And I think I just want to make clear, I know John talks a lot about making that monthly donation. Today we want to talk about Pitt Day of Giving, and that's what Matt's going to talk about. But, to reiterate the phrase or reiterate the theme of giving afterwards, it just doesn't end today. That's on our regular giving page. We can make it as simple as you put down how much you want to do a month. And the important thing there is that you put toward what you want to fund. So if today you went in and said, I wanted to do education, and it was your first time ever donating. And again, we talked about the teachers aren't in it for the big bucks, but I'm going to do a little, my degree was in journalism, so I'm going to venture into the field of math. That $5 a month is over 12 months, $60 a year. 10, 15, 20, so on and so forth. That does make a difference. But that's another site we can direct you to. It's at this point a little bit later to make that, and then put where you want it to go. Education at University of Pittsburgh, at Johnstown. But that continues the giving. Kind of talked a little bit theme earlier. This is Pitt Day of Giving. We're trying to make it Pitt Year of Giving. $10 a month. Trust me, you won't miss that. It won't hurt that much. I just want to make sure we make that point also.
If people are looking to get into the education side of things, where can they get more information?
I feel like our website is a great place to start. Another concept that we've launched through our marketing initiative is we've started a social media page, because our younger generation, they're not looking at the newspaper, they're not reading billboards on the highway. So we just started an initiative where we have our own students building a day in the life of a Pitt-Johnstown student, their experiences when they go into the schools, what teachers wear during the week, and we've then launched through our collaboration with our superintendents, with our guidance counselors in our local districts, and said, have your students start following us. So Pitt, if you would search UPJ_EDU, you could follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook. It's a great community that we just launched, but we are getting quite the following from our alum as well. Our students, we find it's a great way for our students to provide support for each other on frameworks for teaching and supports for meetings, and social media seems to be the way of the world these days.
Bethany, thank you so much for taking 15 minutes out of your day and coming and spending with us and talking about education and the education division and the need for that support for those students.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Especially
much.
considering that they're not, getting paid to do that every day.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You
Thanks
betcha.
a bunch.
Now, is there any age limit to become a teacher?
No age limit.
Okay.
You are career
Never too
shopping
late. You're
today.
lifelong learning.
Well, you know what? I'm not. The mule can still pull. I'm just looking to see what opportunities are out there, but I don't know if I'd want to do it full time, though. I could be a substitute teacher. I know that. But
Well, we'll have to. If you did both the respiratory care and education that you've been looking at, it's the same building. You can just go back and forth each side of the
classes.
Yeah.
You can teach people how to breathe better.
Yeah. Thank you, Bethany.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Nice to
you.
meet you.
Yes. Nice to meet you.
Well, folks, Pitt Day of Giving 2024. One of the we have one last division I wanted to talk about, and actually they asked that I talk a little bit about it for them because sadly, or good for them, sadly for us, that we don't get a chance to sit with them, is our nursing program. Our nursing division is, why don't you come back over here, John? Our nursing division is all out, and they're doing the work that they need to do, looking at our students for nursing. But we're seeing that being one of the two regional campuses in the Pitt network that does nursing, they're 10th best in nursing, right under the U.S. News and World Report ratings. They have a full 4-year bachelor's degree. Everything across the board you could expect to see in nursing. 4-year program, like I mentioned. They're going to get the foundation they need for that graduate program to move on. They can certainly do things like including study abroad. They have honors programs. All types
Beautiful
of
new facility.
a great, gorgeous building, which again comes from the help of people who give during things like Pitt Day of Giving. So wanted to give a recognition to our nursing division. I know from personal experience, we have a lot of great nursing alumni out there all over the world, and we would really appreciate if you said, I want to support that program, to find nursing on that Pitt Day Giving page at upj.pitt.edu/PDOG. Click that top link to get to the page. You can search through all those to get to nursing and donate today, because today's the day. This is it.
And this is it for the UPJ. And as for nursing, the demand is huge. They can't fill the slots of retiring nurses with the ones that they need now. However, the cost of nursing school is expensive. So if there's anybody out there in the medical profession, you realize how important your role is. So maybe you can help at the UPJ Day of Giving for cutting a check to the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown, or, as Dave says, make it the year of giving, and $5, $10, $15 a month over a long matter of time helps make a difference in deferring some of the nursing costs to the curriculum and helping students be able to enter that field so that they can hopefully, long time late, take care of me. But I know that the job they did for Matthew and how important that role in the medical field is. So it's Pitt Day Giving. Please, somebody did it a long time ago for you. Maybe it's time to give back.
But think a long time ago how hard it was to do that. You had to write a check, you had to put it in an envelope, you had to lick a stamp, you had to go to the mailbox. We're looking at technology today, it's a click. So I guess I'm saying if you're out there and it's too much of a bother to make that donation, it's really as simple as
the barrier's low.
Answering a phone.
And it's going to be easier for me, because as soon as we're done with this live feed, I'm going to see Matt and
I have it pulled up. We're going to do it right now.
Okay,
We're going to do it on the live feed.
All right.
As long as you don't show your credit card on the stream. That would be bad.
I'm not going to show my credit card.
But I think, folks, I want to just thank everybody, and we're going to walk through the steps here to do a donation. But if you see a program you like, give to that. Honestly, I'm going to put it out this way. If you've been watching for a long period of time here, I've been in this seat for 4 hours. Didn't that not earn me $5 to UPJ? I haven't felt my legs since noon. But
you did a good job.
But I don't care. That's why this is so special and so fun to do it with. So before we start wrapping things up, do you want to do your
board?
Yep, let's do it.
Oh, let's do it. Okay, let's get
Okay,
John
do that
in and
for-
then
okay.
do the leaderboard.
So that was going to help us.
So let's slide over here. All you do, folks, is we're at the Johnstown webpage, so we're going to go down.
Can you bring it up on here now?
I don't want to, because
Yeah,
we're going
we
to
don't
show
want-
John's credit card.
Okay.
What I can do, though,
Just put the page. There you go.
Well, how much I'm going to give? I
No,
don't
just-
mind helping out. But I don't
We're just going to
really
put
wanna
up.
see.
There we go.
so that's what you see, folks. You kind of see these different accounts and where they can go. And there's 3 whole pages of these. So, John, on my computer here, you can pick where you'd want your funding to go. It's not touchscreen. Don't touch my screen. Don't steal my chicken. Okay. I put mine. No. I love my colleague, but you're uninvited from my class. So you go to the area you'd like to. You click Make a Gift. I'm going to do it over here as well. I'm going to say, let's go athletics just for fun. I click
I'm doing the monthly.
the Make a Gift. No, this is the Pitt Day of Giving one. We'll do monthly separately. You go area of greatest need.
Okay.
How much you want to give? Type a number in. Okay. Or you can select. We'll go down and you click continue. And then you fill out all this information, name, email, phone number, and so forth, and away you go. So while John's typing away there, David, I think it was a great opportunity to talk to so many different parts of the campus community, from the all the divisions, including written representation, and they were kind enough to send their talking points from nursing.
Yep.
The coaches from athletics, spending an hour with Dr. Spector.
I mean, and that is important. I mean, truth be told, our staff is here to do their work, to do what they're paid to do, to teach, to administer, and for them to take time out in their day to come and help institutional advancement, make the point clear. It's very much appreciated. So to reiterate or to kind of put a point on your point, it is appreciative whenever, a good chunk of the athletic department can take a half hour out of their day, or, biology or chemistry or humanities can come up and kind of draw that finer point to the reason that you should give. So I think that I speak for institutional advancement that we're very appreciative of the time today spent.
Yeah, no, there you go. Click there. Excuse me. No, anyone who gave time, certainly, David, from the perspective of the alumni, for the work that you and Lori have done for this Pitt Day of Giving, I know I wore you out today on this. You are an you are a undergrad alumni. And then tell them your year. But I have to thank both.
It goes back so far, it doesn't go back far.
It does. It just have to keep scrolling down. Keep scrolling.
Can
Keep
you type
scrolling.
it in?
There you go. You passed it. But the work that you and Lori both did for Pitt Day of Giving is much appreciated by those of us who are going to benefit,
Sure.
including the students that I get to see in my day. That's Oakland. You want to click continue. Proceed with payment. Yeah, just don't read it out loud. No.
Party at John's house.
Don't have to go. We'll have his credit card number now. Anyway, long story short, thank you both for the work you've done, and hopefully Lori's watching in the other room to know how appreciative we are of it as well. And I think the live stream has been great. Anyone who's spent the whole time with us or any part of the time with us, we are very grateful for you as well.
And you can continue to give after we're off the air.
This runs through midnight.
If you look at the numbers, I guess wait till.
I can bring them up.
Yeah, go to the leaderboard for a second here, man. I just want to make it easier to. So here we go. Okay, so what you can see right now on the leaderboard is we have a goal of 188. We're at 105. That's what, 77? Somewhere around there. Donors that we need before midnight. So that, whether it's a $1 million donation or a $5 donation, that gets us closer to our goal. The closer we get to our goal and we go over our goal, that releases additional funds from the University of Pittsburgh. So it's kind of other people helping us out. So we've got till midnight tonight. I don't know if you want to go over some of the different areas.
Yeah, we can do a quick review of some of the funds just to kind of get an eye at it.
So easy.
Well, wait, go back there for a second, Matt. You can see is when we started, we were just Pennsylvania. We're starting to see a couple of the other states, Texas, New York, North Carolina, a couple
Ohio,
of
Jersey, Mississippi,
right, but you
Florida.
can see some of the ones that are starting to become darker. So by all means, kind of, if your state's not represented, we talked earlier how we have alum all over the place. Let's get, I think we got, what is Florida? Nobody from Florida. Oh, you'll get Florida.
We got one from Florida, just not enough to trigger the color change.
Fantastic. So we're almost got every state
Hey, if
there.
you have anybody in California, come on.
Now California's been triggered. You can see but we've got a couple of.
No, it hasn't.
hasn't it?
No.
I'm looking at it from a corner here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But why don't we go on to look at some of the different areas? So if you're out there and you represent an area from being here,
of course, the Sergeant Baserman Memorial Scholarship was certainly a big part of the criminology program. Clark Strausser's Fund, Ron Vickroy, a very well-known name around campus for a long time. Athletics, chemistry. Congratulate chemistry. They did a great push so far. And again, remember, it doesn't end today. It ends today, but it does not end when we sign off here in a little bit. It keeps going. Engineering, my geography fund for my department there. Basketball, Pascarella Performing Arts Center. The scholarship is a huge benefit to all the students, student activity in life. Unrestricted. Oh, no. Oh, Windows 11. You are awful.
here we go. Change.
Veterans Fund.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Golf, education. So there's the education division. General athletic scholarship. Men's basketball, cross country, women's cross country. Humanities division, natural science, wrestling, men's soccer, women's indoor track and field, women's volleyball, women's basketball, men's cross country, men's indoor and outdoor, track and field, nursing and allied health and respiratory care. Women's softball and athletic fund, social sciences, the business division, business and enterprise division, and women's soccer. So 3 full pages of funds where you can pick where you want your funding to go. Very important.
We're looking for about 70 donors before midnight tonight to get us to that goal.
And that could be
188,
friends, alumni, it can be family members. So, John, when we're done, we're going to get your wife to donate as well.
That's a we. See, we do things together, so we already donated.
That doesn't help us.
Good explanation, but doesn't help the cause.
Doesn't help the cause.
Doesn't help the cause.
But all in all, I think Pitt Day Giving 2024 is off to
But
a...
we authorized that, so we're okay.
And again, it doesn't end today, as Matt said. Let's make it a year of giving. Let's go to the regular page at any time. That's, what is that?
Pitt.edu.
upj.pitt.edu/give anytime during the year. And that's where you can start to set up those monthly donations, whether it's $5, whether it's $10, whether it's $50.
And the monthly donation, it comes out of your debit card or your checking account. And at $5 or $10, let's be honest with each other, you're not going to miss it. But if you get 1,000 people doing that, that makes a huge difference for the campus. Huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, folks, upj.pitt.edu/PDOG, PDOG, the link there to donate for Pitt Day of Giving is exactly what you want to be at. You want to donate. You want to get your family to donate, get your friends to donate, go door to door in your neighborhood. If you haven't seen the mailman yet, grab the mailman when he comes through. Gets us those important, as you keep saying, the important check mark that helps us get those extra funds, and that goes a long way as well. Long-time donations, reoccurring donations, anytime. David, one last time for your contact information if people want to get a hold of institutional advancement.
Sure. 814-269-2081. That's 814-269-2081. Pitt does a real good job with easy emails, not using full last names. DGJ, the number 7 at pitt.edu. Get a hold of me if there's an opportunity that you'd want to continue to give. You need guidance on that, or, we talked before, if you want to come back and do a reunion. I hear a lot of groups out there that say they'd love to come back. All we need is a couple of people to step up to say, hey, I'll help organize it, and institutional advancement takes over from there. So we've got the engineering one coming up with a picnic, a dinner, a speaker series. It can be as simple as, natural sciences, which was a brunch. And we had 60 people come back with that opportunity to just sit around for a day and reminisce about what made UPJ so special. So give me a call. we'd be more than happy to help you out. Even if you have questions, we'd also be happy to answer those.
And every group that did visit it, they had a great time. They enjoyed the camaraderie and were able to get together with old friends. And as we're wrapping this up, it's All Greek Weekend on May 31st that weekend, and the Cambria County, the UPJ Alumni Association on May 31st. Keep this date. Get a foursome together. We got a golf outing going, and we have accommodations for you, very reasonable, right on campus. So if you're interested in coming to town, find a nice weekend, get some friends, go golfing, have dinner, and enjoy yourselves. But we have a golf outing for the alumni. All the money generated goes to scholarships. So you know that it's money well spent to help give another generation opportunity to get an education right here at UPJ.
Another year in the books, gentlemen. Thank you both for participating and helping. John, we're going to do this again next year?
Yeah, we'll do it again next year. Thank you, Matt, for putting all this technical wizardry together.
I'm glad it worked. I'm glad it went well. We still have a long way to go till the end of the day. So please, upj.pitt.edu. And until next year, if you like this, by the way, podcast, Tuck Shop Podcast online, I'm going to promote that as well, where you can hear us talk to a variety of different people. John's been a guest on it. Stacy and Tara from Respiratory Care have been on it. Coach McCore's been on it. Abby's been on it. Coach was fantastic, telling stories of the days when he first got here. Tomorrow is going to be Bruce and Brett Hasselrig, fantastic. Don Freeburn talking about the early days of the Apollo program. And that's just our first couple of episodes. So log in and subscribe to that as well. But most importantly, we need you to donate. We need you to get to that webpage and make sure you get that check mark in there. So for the Pitt-Johnstown Alumni Association, the Office of Institutional Advancement, and members of the UPJ community everywhere, I want to thank you for your time, your talent, and your treasure as we say, till next time.